and you are tuned in to the Really Woke Show live with myself and 007. Today is the 17th. It is Sunday evening where we are. Sunday morning, maybe where you are. Evening, afternoon. How's you doing? How you doing, bro?
I'm good, thanks. How are you, babe?
I'm good. I'm nicely chilled, actually. I've got my nice cup of tea here. Got a nice comfy hoodie on. I'm in my Sunday chill mode. Lots of bits and pieces going on today. We've had some good jokes today. We've had a couple of giggles. We've had a great gig this afternoon. Thank you so much to everyone that joined us this afternoon. I especially had an awesome time rocking out with all of you in the chat room. It was an awesome vibe. Thank you so much for waiting in the chat room. Sorry for the delayed start. We are closer to our start time. We're getting there. Within the first 15, 20 minutes. We're on it. We are going to give you all a shout out in the chat room, but Rich had a great idea, and I've got to run with this because it was a giggle. I had a giggle, and I do think we need something to lighten the mood. So before we jump into the chat room, Rich has put together a nice little something. That's what I'm going to call it. We're getting there within the first 15, 20 minutes. We're on it. We are going to give you all a shout out in the chat room, but Rich had a great idea, and that's great.
Sorry.
Not a problem.
Sorry. I was like, stop.
At this point,
it's not stopping.
At this point, they still know we're amateurs. We're amateurs. Yeah. We're clearly amateurs.
Hi, amateurs here.
Really woke amateurs, but amateurs nevertheless, right? Yeah, you had a nice little idea today to lift the mood, and I'm going to share the screen now. But before I actually press play, can you just explain to us why you made this and what we're about to have a laugh at?
Well, I made it because I was watching some funny clips, and Hale and Pace are really funny, and actually, look, somebody had already done it. And I thought that's a brilliant idea. I'm going to do that as well, and I stole the idea from somebody. I can't remember who it was, but cool. Yeah, I did. Yeah, I'll be honest about that. I did steal the idea, but yeah, I thought it's perfect, man. I mean, yeah, I did the video myself, and I changed it to bar fights in May 2020, and they just called it social distancing bar fights. But there we go.
Oh, I love it. Well, I'll play it now. Hopefully everyone can hear it. Hopefully you'll all be able to hear it. Let me know if you can hear.
You looking at me?
Can you hear it?
Yep.
Good.
Roxanne, are you looking at me? Hang on. Are you looking at me? Do you want some or what? Come over here and say that. Nah, you come over here and say that. Come over here and say what? Come over here and say, come over here and say that. Nah, I won't. Oi! You spill more drink? What are you going to do about it? Oh, yeah? You for that? You come over here and say that. Can't make me. You bastard! Now you're for it. All right, that's enough. You stay out of it. Yeah, mind your own business. Right, you pay for that damage. You can't make me. You think you're on? That's it. Out. Oh. You're breaking my arm, you nutter! And stay out.
Hooligans, you know, hooligans, blooming hooligans, a lot of them.
You're paying for that damage.
You're going to pay for that damage. Yeah. Love it. I know. Do you know what? I had to compose myself. I did have a good giggle before because I'm glad Double let me watch it before. All of you in the chat room, no comment, and Jesse and Dusty Nuggets, all of you. Ninja Man, big love to you as well, my darling. I'm glad that we're giving you some giggles. We needed it just as much as you do.
Still Earth Journey's a new one, I think. I like that. I like that name, Still Earth. I like
that too. Why am I hearing myself coming through your set, bro?
Oh, I don't know, because mine's just
It is what it is. We're trying to make sure the audio's on point for you.
Yeah. Just going to turn the speaker down a little bit, isn't it?
Okay. Now that we've had some little giggles, Sorry for the technical difficulties there that we're having. We're going to try and make sure the audio is on for all of you in the chat room. Still coming through. It's like I'm trying to talk quieter so I don't come through. I was like, I'm trying to talk
God, why does it do this now? Hasn't done it at all, and now it's decided it's. And you're turned right down as well.
Yeah.
Right down. Right, I'm gonna have to get my earphones. Hang on.
Okay, no worries. All right, I'm going to mute double just while he's doing that so I don't keep coming back through his mic. But yeah, we've had some giggles for the start, and I hope you did have some giggles for that. That's over on 007's channel. So before, where is the link now? I can't find the link. I'll try and find the link in a second. But 007's channel is in the description below. So if you go down there, click the link, you'll see the video that we just showed you. I'll try and get that link and get it into the chat room for you. And we're going to jump into the chat room in a second and give you all a shout out. So if you're watching and you want to shout out, pop yourself into the chat room, say what you'd like to say, and we will go ahead and give you a shout out. Also, there's been a few suggestions in the chat room of people that want to support the show that are not online, that want to find an alternative way to support the show. So we're going to set up a PO box. We'll get that done in the next couple of days, and we will then inform you guys what the PO box is, and you'll be able to send us whatever you like, and we'll be able to show that on the show as well. So thank you to all of you that have reached out and have wanted to do that. Massive love to you. We really appreciate that. And we are finding a way. We're finding a way to get bits and pieces to double as quickly as possible. The state of play that was this afternoon, for those of you that are watching, you know we're having major hassles with Double's PayPal, and we're not able to get things to him directly. So we've now got an alternative where we put the things into my PayPal. I PayPal the money to his landlady, and then he gets the money. So thanks to all of you that have donated over the last few days, because we were able to get double the money today. And he was able to go out and get himself some much needed bits and pieces, because all the stocks were depleted. He was down to the raw essentials, and I don't know if anyone's aware of the water situation in Tenerife, but it's the same water situation that Noel's explained to us that he's dealing with over in Malta as well. And yeah, could you just kind of give everyone a quick synopsis of the situation there? Because people have made a massive difference, Double. Thanks to everyone's support. You're talking to us just now and you've got water.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes, perfectly.
All right, let's just see. Is it this microphone? Is it this microphone?
That one.
It's this one.
Yeah, I think so.
My little lapel mic right here.
Oh, that's definitely the mic. Yeah, definitely. There so I was just explaining to everybody, thanks so much to their support this afternoon, because we were able to get you some real help, some tangible help. And that came through this afternoon. You got what you needed to get just now, but it's the water. You were running out of water. It was like, actually, I don't really mind about everything else because I've got no water.
I mean, the thing is, it's Sunday, so all the shops are shut, aren't they? But the garage is open, so I managed to get just a little 5-litre bottle of water. It's like €2.50 or something, as opposed to 8 litres from the supermarket for $1.60, I think it is. But yeah, I got a 5-litre thing. So yeah, that's cool.
Yay, lots of love and support for you in the chat room. Yeah, thanks for that, Ninja Man. I've actually got a place in Richmond that's an actual walk-in place. They've got social distancing sorted out because it's a PO box kind of shop. So I'm hoping there'll be some kind of fast track way I can kind of sort it out, and hopefully with the situation that's going on at the moment, there may be some kind of provisions that are made for doing stuff like that. But without further ado, because I'm responding to people in the chat room, should we go with like 5 each again?
Start at the top, yeah.
Yeah, I'm going all the way. Okay, so I've got Jessie. Shout out to you, my darling. Lovely to see you in the chat room. Brendan there. Thank you so much for being with us. Lovely. And the name that you mentioned as well, Rich, Still Earth Journey, says, hugs everyone. Lovely to see you. Where we go, one, we go all. Alfie, Brian, Big Brother Bri, the Patchins. Shout out to you, my darling. And hello. No comment. Lovely to see you. And over to the broski.
Lee G, mate, how you doing? Good to see you. trying to work out if that was you that left a comment the other day on one of the videos, or if I'm not sure if it was you, because there's a couple of Lee G's, I think. Who else we got? Lee G, Brennan, with so many of us.
Scroll right down. We're down at Crazations. Crazations.
There we are. Look, right, Crazations. How you doing? Dusty Nuggets. Good to see you. Zalmoxis. Good evening. And Skywatcher Footage.
Ooh.
Good to see you.
Skywatcher Footage. Never seen that channel before. Thank you so much.
I'm a bit of a Skywatcher myself. I've got a bit of Skywatcher footage, watching the moon in particular. Always like watching the moon. Moon's spooky, man. Spooky
Ninja
moon.
Man, thank you so much for being here, darling. Great to see you in the chat room. Lovely having you alongside us as we are live. And gorgeous girly, Emma UK. We definitely will have a chat eventually when I get a space to do so, my darling. But really, thank you so much for taking the time to be with us here and be interacting in the chat room. So everybody say hi to Emma. She's also a content maker, and she's a strong lady like myself out there speaking the truth. So yeah, much love and respect to you, my darling. I appreciate you being there and saying hi. I say that, like, look out for Emma, like search on YouTube for her, because she's a content maker. Even though she's only stopping by, just go and check out her content. And I'm making sure I don't miss anyone else out in the list.
I think it's the I next.
That's it. The I 1864. Thank you so much. And Zenith, night peeps, back in an hour and a half. Of course, you know us. You know, like, why use 100 words when we can use 1,000? Yeah, what should take us an hour and a half to go through, we'll probably have us here until 1:45 in the morning. So we'll see you in 90 minutes, darling.
Yeah, we would have maybe just started by the time you come back. Miss DENIER, all right, buddy.
Part of the Really Woke show.
Part of the Really Woke family, definitely. We've got a little video from there, haven't we?
Yes,
that we're going to show.
Yes, and well done on your interview that you did this week. Absolutely brilliant interview that you did with Mark. Awesome. Well done with that.
Yeah, nice one, man. I haven't watched that yet. I've got to watch that. Dude, Lunderground, you all right, mate? How you doing? Good to see you. And Ashley Lee Lyons. Have we already said hello to you?
Alison Lee Lyons. You said Ashley.
Alison. Ashley.
No, we haven't.
Alison,
we haven't.
Sorry.
No. Hi, Alison, darling. How you doing, sweetie?
And Anthony, or maybe Anthony.
Anthony. Evening all. Hi.
How you doing, buddy?
It.
Good to see you.
Love it. So yeah, big love to you all. Thank you so much for joining us. We've got a good few things to go through tonight, and we will be jumping back into the chat room, giving more shout outs, and obviously bits and pieces that we see you popping in the chat room that we think are doable, bringing into the situation on screen. We will by all means put you on screen. There is more information in the description for how you can follow what we're doing and how you can support what we're doing. We're also on Instagram. We're also on Twitter, not so much on Facebook, but Instagram and Twitter, that's where you'll find us. I'm going to add my Twitter details to the description. You'll find my Instagram on Roxanne the Globalist Denier's about section, and you'll find it in the description, I think. You'll also find information for NOEL in there as well. I've got to add near to it, and I've got to add Jess to it as well. But you'll find all of the links where you can find Adam. You'll find him on Quantum Eraser. You'll find him on Iron Realm Media as well. You'll find NOEL on Instagram. You'll find Noel doesn't really use it that much, but he does have a channel on YouTube, and the link for it is in the description as well. And obviously you will see the link for Richard's Instagram and his YouTube channel. So you'll get 007 on Instagram.
I'll put my Twitter link in there as well, because I've got Twitter as well now.
Perfect. So and we have links. It's a link fest in the description.
We've got a Really Woke show. We've got a Really Woke show Instagram as well.
Yes.
Now.
That's been birthed. It's now been birthed. We're going to get it up and running eventually, but we thought we'd better put it in place, just so it's there. And there's Pat Riot. Pat Riot.
Pat Riot.
Why do we say Pat Riot with an Irish accent?
Because it's actually Patriot, isn't it? But
we're just like Pat Riot.
It just looks like Pat Riot. I don't know. It just looks like it being Irish. What's your name? Riot.
Patriot. Patriot.
Patrick's a an Irish name, I think.
Alrighty, so we are now going to jump in and we're going to stop in about 45 minutes for a break. The break's about 3 minutes long, so when we do stop for a break, you'll have about 3 minutes until we come back into us talking like this and then delve into the next thing. So all in all, you know, you'll have about 4 minutes, 4.5 minutes to sort yourself out in about 45 minutes. But until then, we've got some bits and pieces to show you. And today's Sunday. There's been a lot going on this week, and I, as well as Rich, wanted somewhat of a feel-good factor to today's show because I needed it. So I'm not sure if you guys in the chat room need it, but I definitely do need it. And we wanted to take everyone's mind somewhere else, somewhere that you know you got up this morning, you went about your business, or you're just getting up now and you're about to start your day. And you know those ones where you think your day's going to go one way, and then someone shows you something, and you go, well, look at that, eh? Who knew? Well, I wouldn't know unless I'd seen it. And so there are some things today that we're going to show you.
Say something.
That's
something.
right.
Say something.
That's right. Well, you ended up saying something. You ended up going on your roof and going, oh, well, come on. So we are doing a bit of a call to action. No matter what kind of truther you are, there is a great awakening going on internationally just now. You can hide away from it. You can turn a blind eye. You can go and hide under a rock. But there are people questioning things that 6 months ago, they wouldn't have had any interest in looking into. And we wanted to shine a light on that. So we're going to have a little section of doing that as well, which Rich has got involved in tomorrow. I'm going to do one with my kids as well. And I'm going to get that on my Twitter too. We've also got some talk about the unmasking of Flynn, obviously the greatest political scam internationally that's gone on, of the puppets getting themselves in a right scrap. But yeah, there's other bits and pieces that I've got as well. I know you've got some bits and pieces you want to talk about, Rich. Mine is of the skullduggery type. I obviously don't believe in coincidences, which is something I've mentioned a lot. And I don't know if anyone's heard of the fire that's been going on in LA. I've got something that I'm going to talk about regarding that. And I'm going to just hold my hands up and say, look, I just don't believe in coincidences. That's really where I'm coming from with that. Also got a bit of a medical thing that I want to go through. So if Adam is available today, we'll bring that into it as well. I'm just kind of giving you a synopsis of what's going to be on the show today. So you've got a bit of a menu of what you're in for. Also, my special feature for tonight, which I'm glad to say I reached out to Dr. John after watching the most recent upload. And I was absolutely overjoyed with it, to the point where I was like, you know what, Dr. John, is it all right if I shine a light on that on tonight's show? He was like, you go right on ahead, Roxanne. So I was like, thank you very much. This is an ongoing thing that I've got, obviously off camera. I talk to my dad, I talk to my friends and family, and this whole Black Swan thing really got my dad going. So I'm doing this to get brownie points with my dad as well, because he'll be well chuffed that, you know, we've been on here talking shop. So yeah, that's my synopsis. Rich, is there anything you'd like to shine a light on this evening? Is there anything you'd like us to look at or tell the gang about in the chat room?
No, not anything other than what we're sort of discussing already, really.
Cool. Cool.
Let me just, because I do watch things all day, man.
Mm-hmm.
I'm always watching stuff, and I sort of skip between watching stuff and then watching stuff that to escape, you know, to not think about things, and then I'll maybe play a game, or you know. And so, yeah, I mean, to be fair, today what I did mostly was escape, shooting people in the face on computer games.
Oh wow. Okay, well, that brings me to my happy bit then. If that's the case, we'll take everyone's head elsewhere, and I will start sharing my screen around about, hold on, I need to get it on the right one first. Is it that one? No, it's not that one. It's that one, which is called that. It's a new world. This sorry, I'm just trying to work out what one it is. I'm a good laugh, me. Yeah, I've got it. That's it. Lovely. So I'm going to show this one here because I was very impressed when I saw it, and obviously there's no sound just now, and I'm just going to make sure I go full screen with it. Today, we had an upload on Twitter from this lady here, Nicole. She says, my brother is at a beach and called me to say a plane is flying up on the coastline with a huge banner that reads, where we go one, we go all. Thousands in CA are currently researching the hashtag and being led to Q. The most brainwashed state in the US is being liberated. And oh, that's so annoying. Can you hear that?
Can hear the plane, yeah.
Hmm.
Just about.
Newport Beach.
Can you hear that?
California.
Yeah, man.
So that's tab 1. And I'm hoping that actually I can do this because I've just fixed the one at the top. So with a bit of luck, I'll be able to do this because that's not really going to work for me skipping through the tabs. So if you just bear with me, my darlings, I'm just going to do this and go for that. And did I share the
That's
sound?
the thing about sharing the screen with the Chrome. You can only share one tab, can't you? You can open loads of tabs, but you have to close it down and then reopen it on the new tab every time.
No, I've got it. I've got it. I've actually deleted something off of my thing. So I took advice from someone behind the scenes there, and they said, you know what, if you just delete one thing and then 2 things and then 3 things there, that won't be there anymore, and then you're good to go. So I just did it, and that's why I'm doing this now. So yeah, we can flick through these now. This is not a problem. So yeah, hopefully you'll enjoy this, and tell me when you see Rich, okay? And hopefully you'll be able to hear this with a bit of luck. So yeah, I'm gonna share the screen. How do I do that? Go on, Rox. There we go. Can you see that, everyone?
Yeah, man.
Tell me if you can hear it.
Patriots are in control in pursuit of common goals. Good versus evil. Right versus wrong. Humanity.
It's really quiet.
That's really bad. Okay, so I'm going to just stop sharing again. This is at this point, I would say I'll edit this bit out because I'm going to have to work out why, for the first time ever, when I'm sharing my screen and I'm sharing my audio, the audio is coming through my monitor now and it's not coming through my headphones anymore. So my computer's having a bit of a spaz. So it's not allowing me to share the screen. And now how is it still there and I've removed it? That's hilarious. It should be there. So yeah, so sorry. We're having a little bit of a glitch. They just wouldn't let me have a smooth run at this, would they? So right, I'm going to share my screen again. And this time, hold on. While I'm doing this, can you give a shout out to the chat room? Because there's loads more people that have just joined.
Yeah, man. We've got Adam Meakin. It's Adam Meakin. Yeah, yeah. It's Adam Meakin. Who else we got? Jonathan Hobbs. How you doing, man? Vagabond. Mike Carter. Evening, gents. Good to see you. Who else we got? Any other new names? Maggie Ray. How you doing, darling? Good to see you. Thanks for being here. I think that's it for the new arrivals.
Okay, I'm going to just try and share my screen again, and hopefully you guys will get this properly.
Right, my one, yeah. What I want is you to play the one that I've just uploaded onto my YouTube. I got it now. There's three different versions of it, right? There's the very first one that I put on Twitter. There's the next one that's slightly edited that I put on Instagram, and then there's the final one, which is totally edited, which is on YouTube.
Okay. So what do you want to do? I've got it all lined up. What should we do first?
Now do the other guys first.
Are you sure? There's quite a few links to go through. Are you sure?
That's right. Yeah.
Okay, lovely. So tell me if you can see and hear this now. Can you hear these two lovelies?
Patriots are in control in pursuit of.
Can you hear her?
We can hear them. We can't see them. We can hear, can't see.
Right. Okay. So not sure what's happening with the old StreamYards today. This is a good laugh. Okay. So now hopefully you'll be able to see them and hear them.
Common goals.
Good.
Can you hear that?
There we go. There we go.
Okay. Brilliant.
Patriots are in control in pursuit of common goals.
Good versus evil.
Right versus wrong.
Humanity.
Power over another person is not okay.
Patriots are not divided.
Borders do not separate us.
We fight together.
We stand strong together.
We, the people.
Where we go one,
we go all. Do it, Q!
Woo!
There was no sound on that one.
Where we go one, we go all.
Oh man, that's the sweetest one.
Where we go.
One, we go all. Where we go. We go one, we go all.
Can you look at mommy?
One, we go all.
Where we go one, we go all.
We one, we go all.
Hey guys, Patriots worldwide.
They've done it to me again. They just don't. It's all right. It's all right. I see what they're doing to me. It's so funny. It's hilarious. So cool. Hopefully you'll hear this, guys.
Shout out to the
No, they're really not having it. Can you hear that?
Southern Brazil. Where we go one, we go all.
Yeah, I can hear that.
I'd love to know why my mic is not working.
Hey, I'm Nico from Germany. Where we go one, we go all. Hey, I'm Nico from Germany.
Representing Haiti, Haiti. Ça passe, nap leve. We are rising. Where we go one, we go all.
Here since day one, October 2017. From the liberal gutter of Los Angeles, California, to the patriots across the nation and the patriots worldwide, where we go one, we go all. Here since day one.
Otherwise known as Richie. I'm 007, otherwise known as Richie. In Tenerife, from the UK, where we go one, we go all.
The more patriots step up, the quicker the cabal falls. Because where we go one, we go all. Tito Calloway, representing the D. Let's get him, Q.
Oklahoma. Where we go one, we go all. God wins.
Newport Beach.
And obviously, yeah, that was the one I started
California.
with the aeroplane. So this was just a little something that I wanted to show you, because obviously the Great Awakening is happening worldwide, whether anyone likes it or not. People are questioning things, as I said, that 6 months ago, just what it feels like someone Sky Plussed it and fast forwarded it. And I just wanted you to see that there's people of all walks of life that are coming into this pursuit of truth from so many different avenues and places across the international plane. And, you know, there was people there from Brazil, there was people there from Germany, there was people there from America. I've seen a lot, and I'll probably do a segment where I'll do like 5 minutes just on British ones alone. It's hundreds, if not tens of thousands. The numbers are insane. Just when you search the hashtag on Twitter, crazy amount that come up. So yeah, thank you for letting me go through that. As I said, there is a few other things that I want to go through, and I want to like not do too much information overload. But as I said, there is, sorry about the noise in the background as well. There are a few things that we do need to go through. So yeah, how did you find that? Well done for being a part of it, Rich.
Had to be done, didn't it? You played the wrong one, though. You didn't play the most recent version. That was the first version.
Where do I find the next one?
I tweeted it, actually.
Oh,
It is there. But it doesn't matter. You don't have to see it now. It's done. It's basically, that's it, innit? It's not changed. So just put some bells and whistles on it.
Yeah. Yeah, and listen, no matter whether you're on the fence with not or not, it matters not a jot. It just matters that you're on your pursuit of truth in some way, shape, or form.
I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what I'll do. Right, I'll give my little Q testimony again, just for those of you that are still having difficulty with it, for obvious reasons, for understandable reasons. I've been on this pursuit of truth, on the hero's journey for nothing but the truth. I say the hero's journey because it's a lonesome journey. You always end up on your own, don't you? Because everybody. What's that open for? I didn't open that.
What?
Wow.
What?
Just loads of stuff just opened up on my computer, and I didn't open it. Just went bim, bim, bim. Just opened up. Right. So 2013, I started. 2017, Q started, and when it started, I was on it straight away with in the little community that I was in, and the Uni Rock fam, the Uni fam, and we were exploring it, and we basically looked at it for about 6 months, and I went, "Yep, that's a load of crap. It's a psyop. It's just another rabbit hole to get everybody lost and distracted, and go look over there." And I discounted it, and then I met around the same time, I think, that I discounted it, I met you, didn't I? And you mentioned it, and I said, "No, I'm off that
dismissed
train.
it.
That's a load of shit." Dismissed it straight away, and you didn't really say anything after that. But then you introduced me to Dolly, and then Dolly was on it, and she was on it separate from you. She'd got on it herself. She hadn't done it because you told her to or anything like that. She was totally on it herself, independent thinking, independent critical thinking. And Dolly, though most people in the chat room know Dolly, you all know Dolly. She's so lovely, man, but she's the last person on earth that I would have expected to pay attention to it, not just pay attention to it, understand it, actually see what's been, like, work out what's being said. And one of the things that Q says is disinformation is necessary. So one of the things that Q puts out is disinformation, and one of the things that impressed me the most was that Dolly saw it. Dolly saw it. It wasn't. It's all about how do you get the right answer. You have to ask the right question, man. You ask the right question. So somebody asked Q, "Is the Earth flat?" And Q said, "No."
Yeah.
And Dolly went, "That wasn't the right question."
Yeah.
And worked out that the globe, it's not that the Earth is flat, it's that the globe is a lie. So just that in itself, I saw that and I was like, wow, it doesn't matter where Q came from or who he is or what. It is something now, and what it is now is millions of eyes looking critically, independently, critically at things. They're using their own discernment. They're putting dots, they're joining the dots themselves, man. And some people are coming up with really skew-whiffy pictures. And some people are coming up with really nice, perfectly detailed portraits. Somewhere in the middle, we've got the truth. And with all these people looking at it, nobody can get away with anything now. MSM, as soon as we all know that they're fake. The news is dead. Thanks to Q, the news is dead.
Yeah.
Not thanks to anything else. I'll say that. Thanks to Q. So it doesn't matter. This whole argument about, who's Q? Oh, is it somebody that's right next to POTUS? Is it somebody that's in the White House? Who is it? Have they got any? Or is it, as I originally thought, just a bunch of YouTube LARPers? That's what I thought it was. it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, because what there is now is a movement, and that's this whole where we go one, we go all. We're all in this together. We all want to find out the truth. We all want to push forward and make it better for everybody. So there aren't this select few individuals that are sat at the top, you know, big fat cats controlling everything and doing whatever they want. We're
And
unbeknownst
to a lot of people, Rich, about 80% of the Really Woke show since we've incepted it from Really Woke Reports has been based off of Q. So when we've gone through a lot of the subjects that we've gone
some
through,
of it's come from, to be fair, some of it's come from MEAKIN. You've got some of it from MEAKIN.
Oh yeah,
like,
yeah. No, let's be honest. Most of it comes from MEAKIN, but it gets regurgitated onto Q. So, but the funny thing is in that time, go on, bro. Go on.
I was just going to say that the best thing is that I think it's what you were going to say. In that time, right, we went from saying what Q was like. We were collating everything, and if Q said it, then we'd come out and then we'd say, okay, we can talk about this.
Yeah.
But now it's got to the point, or certainly in the last sort of couple of weeks, it got to the point.
The one that really stuck out with us was the one that we sat on all day, the Out of the Shadows video. That morning was a long morning, and we sat on it all day, and we went, shall we, shan't we, shall we, shan't we, shall we, shan't we, shall we will. And then the following day, the day after, it went on QMAP, and we
that
went,
was the mark-off for us, because we just went, go on, we're just going to go with it.
And it is
and
I think
it happened a couple of times after that, didn't it? A couple of times after that, we decided we felt confident enough to speak about things before they went onto the QMAP. We spoke about them, and then they went onto the QMAP. And like a lot, what's been happening over the last couple of weeks, a lot as well, is while we've been talking, the Q's been posting, and it's been kind of confirming what we're saying
along the same line.
Along the same lines as what we're saying.
So all Q is information. Some of it's disinfo, and a lot of it's quite critical. Q's not a belief system. It's not a belief system. And I implore all of you to take a look into what we're talking about. I wouldn't so much look at it like a chore. So even if I'd spent a week doing 10 hours a day looking at MEAKIN, there's a lot of things in play. We'll do an extra on it at some point, but it's really difficult to put into words. It's like, obviously the controlled opposition look at it as well, so there's a lot of disinfo on there as well, and the controlled op normally run with the disinfo. And like Dolly's told everyone a lot of times, look for those who shout the loudest and do our 180. Obviously, you know, we the people, this is up to we the people to be critical, independent thinkers and actually just, you know, look into it for yourself. Don't take our word for it. But I will say this to you, for the last 2 months, 80% of the topics of conversation we've brought to you have been from MEAKIN. So I would just remind yourselves of that when you're writing it off, because most of everybody's entertained the conversations, especially, you know, some of the more in-depth ones that we've done. We've taken them directly from MEAKIN. We've given you the source material that we've got from MEAKIN, and we've shared that with you in the chat room, and all of it checks out. Myself or Rich or Adam or Noel, we haven't had to come on here and give a retraction statement and tell you we've all given you booky information and sent you down a road that's given you a dead end. Normally we will give you things to go and dig on and go and, you know, find out, because, you know, we want to disprove things as much as the next person. But again, I want to thank everybody for rolling with us on this, because a lot of this information is starting to come to light. So without further ado, I am going to go on to... The thing is as well now,
with all the information, that we share, with all the information that is shared generally with the public, ignorance now is willful. It's not, you have a choice to remain ignorant to things. You can go and look it up, you can search and dig, and follow references and collate and back things up, or you can just sit there and say, no, not learn anything about it and just go with the opinions that are given to you by other people who may or may not have looked at it personally themselves. It's always better to have your own opinion based on your own personal experience of something.
Yeah, definitely.
That's what I think.
Definitely. So without further ado, what I'll do is I'm just going to go through this threads from My Maria 777. If you go onto Instagram, you will see. Just need to find the Instagram. There we go. Right, here we go. Hopefully you can see that. Can everyone see what I'm looking at here? Yeah, I'm just going to put it full screen so you've got more of a chance of actually looking at it properly. So My Maria is someone that I've been following for a while. She's actually someone who has a legal degree. She's an active working person in law. And she is a prolific poster on Instagram. I do hope one day to get her on the Really Woke show. She probably won't come on camera to protect her identity. But yeah, she's ace. I mean, she's ace. She's on it. She actually reminds me of like a female Riley, actually.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean, Rich? She
Yeah.
will not stop. She will just keep going until she's got to the end of it. And today, 3 hours ago, she posted this, and straight away I went, oh. So she said, are we seeing a Q-proof play out in real time? Did you see that there was a fire yesterday in downtown LA? And did you see where the fire was located? Do you believe in coincidences? Future proving past? Well, let me just take you through this, right? Hopefully you'll be able to hear this, and I've shared the audio. Okay, so the Los Angeles Fire Department update structure fire Mayday 5/16/20 update, and then all of these codes, right? You obviously on a playback can pause all of this, but this here is apparently where the spot is 327. I think it's Boyd Street, downtown LA. And this is a Smoke Tokes wholesalers and distributors, right? And this is the weird thing about this. The Los Angeles fire was at 327, which is a marijuana dispensary. Now, Q drop 327 states, do you believe in coincidences? A lot of us don't believe in coincidences, but check this. 327 blunts, all right? We're just talking about coincidences here. That's all, nothing more, nothing less, all right? It's just about a coincidence, like Maria said. BDT false flag thwarted. Do you believe in coincidences? Blunt and direct time. BDT, think currency, think fireworks, thwarted, message delivered. These people are sick. What we're trying to point out here is we've got blunts and 327 and blunts. And for those that follow these kind of posts, one would know, right, one coincidence, fair enough, we'll overlook it. But two on one post talking about currency, talking about fireworks. To those of you that know, we'll keep an eye on this and we'll watch this, because I'm with Maria on this one. I'm not down with the whole coincidences flex of this, if you know what I mean. So yeah, thank you for going with me on that one. As I said, it was something that I wanted to bring to everyone's attention. So if you're on Instagram, do you know how much it's actually distracting me? My son's making so much noise on his game.
He
right
is
now.
quite noisy tonight. He's quite noisy tonight. I can hear him.
Yeah. So let me just let you respond to that while I go and deal with my son. Just hold on.
So yeah, I mean, what are people's thoughts? Let's see some thoughts in the chat room, because obviously I know in our chat room, our subscribers, we've got a mixed bag of Trump and Q supporters. I know there's a lot of. I know we've got a couple of never Trumpers in our camp.
His bedroom door was opened. That's why he was so loud. Normally he has his bedroom door closed. I was thinking it was like Dolby surround sound coming down the stairs. I'm like, what's going on there? But yeah, it was, I thought it's 10:30. Time to call it a night, son. Lie down. So yeah, sorry about that. I didn't mean to just jump off. But yeah, thank you for rolling with me through on that one. What do you feel about that? Do you not feel that that's like really coincidental? Like the name, the number of the shop, and the fact that it's Blunt and the post says Blunt. We'll look into it after the show because I know I haven't really had time to kind of go through that one with you. I, for one, just find it uncanny.
As a critical thinker, right? What does that so how does it relate? How does it, because I don't believe in coincidence myself. So what's the point of it? Is it the deep state set fire to the building, attacking it because it's featured?
Remember, we're in a lockdown situation, so shops like that are not going to be opened and used. I don't know. That's why I say I think we've got to look into it.
Yeah, it's a weird one, isn't it? I know, like, I don't believe in coincidence, so there's a meaning behind it for sure.
Yep. So I'm just gonna, I don't know if I have done already, but I'm just gonna pop it into the chat room again in case I haven't done. But I'm popping a link in there for my Maria's Instagram, and you can just click on that and go straight on through to her Instagram.
We'll just respond quickly to Ninja Man, right? Ninja Man, if you actually listen to what Trump says, he's very clear. He's very
and Ninja, I know you weren't in the chat room last night, but we did go through this last night with Adam
we
as well.
Through this last night.
Clear and concise what's been said.
He says very clearly that it's not mandatory. You know,
the Right to Choose Act. People will want vaccines. I've spoken to friends myself. My good friend up in Scotland, there are sheeple that will just blindly want vaccines because they feel they're paranoid. They feel they need it. So the vaccines are there for people. There are
actually people. There are people out there. If you told them, if a doctor stood on TV and told them, if you inject this bleach and liquid mercury directly into your veins, you'll be immune to all illness.
Let's slow down.
Forever.
Wait, slow down 1 sec. I just got to handle this. Okay. Please don't make statements like that in the chat room, Ninja. I've met you in person. I felt you were a really calm guy, but no one here is patronizing you. So please don't give that impression in the chat room that people are patronizing you. We're ascertaining, because you weren't here yesterday, sweetheart, what was said. But I say that with the most love. That's why I started that sentence with, I've met you in person. So please understand, I say that with love, you know. I mean that genuinely. No one is here, Pat. We all need to remind everyone in the chat room and us here, we're handling everyone with as much care as possible, which is why we're painstakingly going through this.
Rox is way better at it than me.
Please don't just let your wick run out like that in the chat room, because there's a lot of other people in the chat room as well that are interacting and holding it down. We're holding it down. Everyone's holding it down. So it would just, you would do me a massive favor if you could just remind yourself and everyone around you, just handle everyone with care, because people want answers. I get it. People want answers. And I see that, you know, sometimes the optics look a little bit one-sided, but please don't feel that anyone's patronizing you, because no one is.
But just to finish what that clarification, Trump says in when he addresses the press, he says people, if they can have the vaccine if they choose it, the right to choose. And also, I think we confirmed, Rox, didn't you confirm that it's not a vaccine they come around with? It's not a vaccine in the sense that people you know. It's not a Bill Gates vaccine.
On that note, it's a good time to, because we're getting it to that point where I think a little word
out of MEAKIN,
right on time.
Inside of MEAKIN, he's a chemist on a really funk show.
Evening, guys.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah.
MEAKIN.
Just quickly finish, right? I think we confirmed that it's what they've done is they've rebranded hydroxychloroquine into something else. It's got a different name, and it's a vaccine. It's being
no, I don't know if we
delivered.
can say it's being used as a vaccine, because I think we went through that yesterday, didn't we? That's why I said I don't want anyone to get confused.
I thought they actually rebranded
that's okay.
it as a vaccine.
I'm letting Ninja know that's okay. You're more than welcome to see it different, but just please don't like sway it like that. No one was patronizing you, and I need you to understand that no one was patronizing you. We were just trying to ascertain what was going on. So I'm sorry you felt that way.
Ninja Man, I understand where you're coming from as well, because do you know what, mate? I felt exactly the same. I hated Trump. I hated him. Like, really, seriously, I couldn't look at a picture of him without wanting to smash it or spit on him or something. Really hated him. His whole arrogant, egotistical. He's very egotistical. But I realized that most of that was coming from how he'd been portrayed to me, not
no worries.
It wasn't, it was a tainted view of him, a tainted perception, because it was basically all I knew of him was what I'd seen, what was given to me by the MSM, which wasn't very favorable. And when I went and looked into it myself and looked at the interviews that they don't show you and listened to the things that he says that they don't play to people, then my opinion changed of him, my perception changed of him. Now when I hear him, I hear something completely different to what I would have heard 5 years ago. So I understand where you're coming from, buddy, honestly.
I think to be fair, you think he's complicit, but I'm not sure everyone's going to agree with that. But I appreciate your opinion, and I don't want to hang up on this too long. But I appreciate you going back and forth, Ninja. But it's gonna start swaying where we're going with this, and we've just had Adam arrive as well. So I appreciate that double. And Ninja, we'll try and shine a light on that again. Go on. Yeah.
What's this?
Hello, my darling.
Donald. Whether you should like Donald Trump or not.
No, not about Donald Trump being liked or not, just about whether he's complicit with the deep state or not. And it's like, I think we'll leave that kind of whole subject for another, because that's a whole segment in its own right. If we're going to start like going into the debate of whether that's like, I almost feel like I need to get headache pills out just to go there.
Time will tell, but if you base it on personality or likability or presidential ratings, then people who have massive popular opinion like Barack Obama don't mean shit, does it?
No.
Whether some of the greatest people in history aren't necessarily the nicest people you'd want to go to a pub with.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd want to go out. I think Donald Trump has lots of personality faults. None of them I really care about. Yeah, because I said, I don't want to go and have a dinner party with the man, but I am interested, and what he does seem good at is achieving what he sets out to do.
Well said.
Yeah.
He's the first one.
He's
the first one that actually kept promises. He's the first one that I've seen kept promises, and in contrast to Obama, who I watched him and I listened to him lie through his teeth non-stop from the day he took office. He did not tell a single truth from the day he took office. And I remember thinking to myself, wow, he is actually the father of lies. He might be the Antichrist, because it's literally, he'll stand there in front of the podium and he'll say something, and 3 or 4 hours later, he'll completely contradict what he has promised, and he'll go exactly the opposite way. Or he did, not will. He did.
May I also point something out? I know that a lot of people have looked into 9/11 on their pursuit of truth. So a lot of people have got opinions on 9/11. But if we just take that date, 9/11, and what they did on that date, I think this would probably be an apt time for me to bring up this subject, because it's been going on for about 19 odd years now, nearly 20 years, coming up to 20 years. That the international community has been undergoing a silent war between military intelligence and the cabal. To go into all the details about this would be like to put a hotspot on it. But just to summarize on what I'm trying to say here, the international community that's at war, right? This war is one that they manufactured. And a lot of you that are on a pursuit of truth will understand what I'm talking about when you'll remember back in 2001 when they manufactured the war against terror. Right.
Terror.
Yeah.
Terror. Terror.
Obviously,
Terror.
terror is embedded with terrorists and traitors operating within everybody's country and stuff like that. Yeah. The historical breakdown of the legal maneuvers that have led us into this tenuous point that we're in now internationally. Obviously, as I said, America declared a state of war on terror, since 9/11, 2001.
Which I always thought right at the time when it happened.
Do you know that declaration has never stopped? It's actually been continuous for the last 19 years. The war on terror.
And
it's been an ongoing war since the time of George Bush and the fall of the World Trade Center. In fact, go on.
That statement in itself is an oxymoron, isn't it? It's the war on terror. War is a pretty terrible, terror-filled time. So a war on terror is a contradiction in terms, is it not? Yeah, I remember when they said that, when they were pushing that, the war on terror. It's like, whoa, hang on a second. That's a bit, that's not right, is it? This is fear. And all I saw straight away was this fear campaign being pushed on everybody. Just pure fear, terror. Sorry, interrupting.
No, you're right. You're right. You know me, I've had to just take notes because I know that I've almost forgotten what I was going to say, and it was about nations. It's all right. I was on a roll. It was.
I'm sorry.
It's all good, bro. It's all good. But I was talking about the World Trade Organization the other day and the walkaway, right? And the war on terror, right, has been ongoing. It's been an ongoing war since the time of George Bush. Yeah, the fall of the World Trade Center. But if you actually look at it, see the declared state of war that they declared, it doesn't have a specific enemy nation at all whatsoever. So it's a very broad-based war on terror. This non-specific declared state of war on terror was obviously used by the deep state, the cabal, the Rothschilds puppets, Bush, Obama, yada, 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 loot and plunder the international community from the Middle East, killing, a whole heap of innocent people, from Afghanis to Iraqis to Syrians to Libyans, all for country resources, labor, manufacturing, production, consume, obey. The Institute of the Rothschild central banks as well. We've gone through the lists of those as well. I don't know about anyone else, but I don't know if anyone's looked into researching that declaration of war and what it automatically brings into effect. It brings into effect a number of statutes that confer special powers on the president and the executive branch, especially about the measures that have a domestic effect. They include, granting the president direct power to take over businesses, transportation systems as part of the war effort, the ability to detain foreign nationals, the power to conduct spying without any warrants domestically, all of that. So when you look at the timeline of what's happened the last 19 years and you get to the point where we are now, like I said, it just depends on how you're looking at this. All of the pointers seem to point to, well, if we were to analogize this would be like the descent on a plane where you're told to put your seatbelt in because we're about to put your tray away, click in, because we're about to go in. It looks like the whole international community, like if you were to analogize it as people on reins, like Robert the Bruce, everyone's pulling their horse reins back to stop their horses, and it's almost like that standoff bit the cabal are going to fight with they're fighting for their lives. They're fighting for their lives. Those oppressors that have oppressed us for so very long.
Well, because they know that when everybody
Yeah.
finds out what they've done, that they're as good as dead. When everybody finds out what they've done, there aren't many people that will want to see them walking the earth any longer, because what they've done is the worst thing that any human being could ever do or be involved with.
Yeah. Yeah. The declaration of war also uses the power to use natural resources on public lands, which is a nasty bit of legal justification to plunder nations and to fulfill the desires of the cabal. All in one bang.
So that's what they've been doing for the last 19 years.
Oh my goodness. That's what causes all the conflicts, Rich. Stealing oil from Iraq, plundering, Gaddafi's Libyan gold, taking control of the Afghanistan poppy fields, the rest of it.
If you think about
all of
it, it was nearly 17 years.
Bit longer.
Well, if they lost, I mean, let's say that because let's say that Patriots started to gain control in 2016 when Trump took over. They started publicizing it, or at least shining the light on it in 2017. But when the 9/11 was in 2001, wasn't it? So. Yeah, 16 years.
Yep.
15 years.
And you see all that corruption, they would have to keep themselves in power. They would have to have controlled changeovers of power that optically look like it's all not controlled. But then what happens if someone comes in that isn't pre-selected by them and actually takes control? They lose control.
Then they panic. Then they panic. And
yep.
then they start to sort of bite and snap at each other and lose control. And that's exactly what we've seen happen.
Yeah.
We've seen them start to panic.
I think we've got more problems from Big Pharma than nuclear warheads. Because look where we are with Big Pharma now. Look at the questions that we're having to ask Adam about what's going on right now, because of it's like the medical issue is way worse than any guns or bullets or missiles that anyone could be worried about.
The worst thing about the medical issue is that it's most of the people that are in the medical, are in the healthcare or the medical trade, whatever. They're in there for good reasons, because it's a vocation.
Yeah.
They want to go and use the skills given to them to go and help other people. And so that's the majority, I think, of the people that are working in healthcare. It's just the fat cats at the top that have started making,
with a non-cabal president or a non-cabal leader. I think the cabal know that they're screwed. Sorry, Adam.
Big Pharma is one arm of the octopus, and it can't operate on its own. Probably a good example is the Gardasil injection. Okay, now without the other arms of the tentacles, there's no way in which Big Pharma will be able to convince you that the presupposition that a human papillomavirus, which has a correlation to cervical cancer, that it's reasonable for you to inject that into your young boy. Big Pharma on its own can't convince a populace, a health system, to implement things like that. It doesn't work on its own. Now, the interesting thing about the good people is people dissent and we're quelled or ignored or ridiculed, just like flat earthers, when you point out the truth. That's you stupid. Why wouldn't you not want your young pubescent boy to have an injection to make sure his cervix doesn't get cancerous? Stupid boy, But,
Yeah.
Point being, it doesn't work on its own. It requires state. It requires media, all of those things to sell it, so that the good medics that are busy doing what they think is a good thing, looking after people, that don't look into it, because we do have a trust for the system. So that when they're told this, that there's validity behind it via things like National Institute for Clinical Excellence validating these things. That's where the good people are perverted by the systems that they trust, and then they all you would do is cursory glance check that. Is it there? Is it approved? Are other people validating it? People, like with everything, people that you ascribe are much more, not necessarily smarter, but specialized than you when you're looking at medical fields, and if they validate it, then you feel justified in accepting that, and that's the way the system works. It's genius, really.
Yeah, it is. Adam, we've been going for about an hour now, and I've got a couple of medical questions that I'm wondering if you can help us along with. When we come back, I've got a little video, and it's just for giggles. I've probably played it on repeat for about 24 hours now. I cannot get enough of this track, only because I like the original track. So if anyone knows, if you know who the original track is, pop it in the chat room, because I knew straight away, because I was, knew all the words and all sorts. Go on.
I was just going to say, and if you feel a certain way about a particular person,
don't worry about it, man. Man,
just close your eyes and listen to it, man, and enjoy the song, because it's quality. It's been done so well. If you know the original track, it'll be hard to tell the difference between them.
Good.
Before you do that, Rox,
I
was just in chat earlier. Shout out Ian, but he did say that he's not received his CBD oil and gummies. So Lunderground says he's got his. So cheers, pal.
Cool.
So I will send you. Just send Rox. I said to him to send Rox your address again.
No worries. I've still got it on there anyway, so I'll give that to you at the end of the show.
I'll resend it, fella. But just on that, you see, I thought, what a great opportunity. I've still got some left if people want it.
Oh, awesome.
It's still available.
You heard it there from Adam. Over 20 quid on the donations, and we can hook you up with some CBD oil. Yeah.
Well, 20 pound or more. Any donations of £20 or more.
Sorry, I meant to say that. Sorry.
If you put your address in the note, then we can send it to you. And you just say, we need your address. We can't do it without your address. We can't
do it without it.
We can't.
Or
we
just
can't
go
do
through PayPal on a gift, and then just say, look, that was my email, because the same email address will come up, and just say, bang, look, that was me on the email. And then if you don't want to do it like that.
But don't do 30. Do 40, because I can't send off a bottle. So do 40 and I'll send you 2 bottles. Yeah. And if you can't do 40, 30 is all you do, 20 this month and 20 next. And then I can send you a bottle this month and a bottle next. There's a good few bottles left. I reckon there's a good 20 bottles or so left. So
Adam, that's so ace. Guys, you heard it here first. Get it in while it's there. There's about 20 bottles left. If you go through to the PayPal, click the PayPal, pop 20 quid in, or as Adam said, there's 20 bottles there. So if you want one this month and next month, you know what I mean?
Hey, and listen, if there's any little Dell boys that are watching this, right, and you've got a little bit of capital, you can buy the whole lot. Right, you can sell them for £50 a bottle.
What is it? Is Incorporated
bottle.
Cookie Street, Street, massive.
Seriously, they have gone out of stock now. I can't get them at that price, and
wow,
they're back to between 50 and 60 quid a bottle for those now. So they are really good value. And Vagabond, it's fantastic. It's funny actually, Rox. My uncle rang me yesterday afternoon. He's 70, early 70s, and he's been on it now. And he rang me, Ad, I'll pay you at cost, he said. I said, you cheeky sod. I'm not having my uncle pay me for something.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
So
he said, send me some more, because it's just like I said, he's a motorbike rider, and it's broken that he can't get his leg over his Kawasaki anymore, but he's able to do that now. So it's top bollocks, mate.
Right on,
it's
man.
really good stuff. Marie said she thinks it's a lot better quality than the organic one that we had been getting before. That's subjective, but it is what she said. So
Marie is still a case study. Nevertheless, her opinion matters. I mean, she's been using it for a while. I'm just saying, from one woman to another, when something's like better than the other. Do you know what I mean?
I'll tell you what.
I don't know if anyone's giving her checks for saying that on the background, but I'm going to take Marie's word for it.
Dude, you've obviously sent a bottle on to myself. I've never taken CBD oil in this way before. I've smoked it, but I've never done it like this. So when, I wonder if I should save it for a time when I might need it, rather than just start taking it.
No.
And if I do start taking it,
I've sent you quite a few bottles actually. But take it as a daily supplement. Okay, it's there to support that endocannabinoid system to top it up. And whether people smoke weed heavily like you do, or were able to do when you weren't on lockdown, it's kind of indifferent. That's an indifferent point, not relevant to it. But just shout out Alfie Patchin, great CBD, thank you. He's got it. So, and like I say, it does appear to be a really, really good quality. I'd never seen it before, that brand, but I know people had said so. I'm glad it's decent. But yeah, you should get yours in your jellies, Rich. But have it as a supplement, just like you would have your vitamins. But you should get your vitamins from fruit and veg. This is something
to add. I'll stick it in my yogurt.
Yeah.
And we've had no complaints from anybody who's received their CBD oil. Everybody's been happy with it so far. So that's to be said for as well. No complaints from anybody so far.
And I think Ian's the only. You're the only person that hasn't arrived for Ian. So that's a bit unfortunate, man. Sorry about that, dude.
I'll sort it. Don't worry. We'll sort that.
Nice one, Adam. Thank you. So you heard it here first. You heard Adam letting you know that there's about 20 bottles left. Get it while it's there. The PayPal link is in the description. Go right on through. Give us your address. You can pop the address in the message. If you're doing a gift for friends and family, just pop your address in the actual note. And then I'll pass that on to Adam, and Adam will get that out to you. So £40 for 2 bottles, Adam.
Yeah, Vagabond. Yeah. If you send a donation to Rox for 40 quid for her and Rates, then I'll stick 2 bottles in the box.
Wow. And we've got someone else in the chat room as well saying, Duke said, my dog's on CBD, it's arthritis, top quality, and it does wonders. That's Duke's. Thank you for tuning in. Duke said, I spent $50 on a bottle. Yeah. Riley treated his dog with it as well, right, Adam?
I think Mickey's still having CBD oil because he went through a long treatment, but as well as that, he is an old dog, and it's used. It keeps him chasing cats still now, just
which is what we want to hear. That's exactly what we want to hear. And we saw how much the even though it got the second one, I don't know if the second one got taken down. I've got to check actually, but the interview that we did with you about the CBD, the wealth of things that can be done off of it with the endocannabinoid system and everything, it's there. The receptors are there. It's it's been designed that way, right?
Hold up. Yes. Ian Adams, double ordered 2 bottles, received 1. So that might be me. I've only sent him 1 parcel. Is that what you're saying? You sent orders twice, and you've only received 1 because I've only sent 1. So I will send you another, mate.
Okay, we'll try and ascertain what's going on with that. Ian's
cool, man. I've seen Ian for years, so it doesn't matter. We'll have 1 in the post.
Do you know what? You took the words right out of my mouth there. I was going to say, Ian, don't worry. We've got you. We'll get to the bottom of it, and we'll get you that CBD oil. Big love to you, my darling. And thank you, Vagabond. That's amazing. Vagabond just said, I'll do 50 now. Please keep the change. That's so sweet. Thank you. Big time. Big time. I think we've lost connection with Rich. I saw him freeze and then it dropped.
Well,
so hopefully he'll be back in a little minute.
Just on that then, that's 2 parcels to the post office. I don't
Vagabond,
like going for less
received that
than
right
3 or 4.
from Vagabond. Thank you. Big time. Wow, Adam. I can't tell you how much of a help that is. Big time. Rich was completely depleted today, and I literally managed to get all of his donations over to the landlady today, and he went out to the shop. So that's almost, me and Rich back up and running now. And so even tomorrow I can put a bit more change over there for him as well. Do you know, we're still waiting for the envelope that I sent on the 16th of last month to arrive there. Apparently it's still there. It's classified. It's not classified, whatever, when they classify it. Sorry, it's being classified at the it's got to Tenerife. It's there, but it's going through like an inordinately long system to get to the mail delivery point where it goes out with someone, and we're just watching it there on the tracker. We're just watching it kind of snail pace its way to Rich. I think I would have been quicker swimming it or taking a rowboat myself. Rowing.
That was where you've got that his landlady.
Oh, it's a
at least we got a route, and just
goodness.
on that. Look, I know, we all know Richard's struggle.
To Ian, no worries. Ian said much appreciated for Roxanne and Adam. Big time, Ian. Yeah. Sorry, Adam. Go for it.
I was just saying, look, donating sometimes. This isn't donating. Get yourself a bottle of CB Dural, and the guys do literally. It's all going to them. So you're not donating. You are getting something at least half price.
Yeah, big time.
So
big time. Thank
you. If you left, get them quick, while it'll make a difference to these guys.
Thank you, my darling. And to all of you in the chat room, thank you so much for all of your vibes in the chat room. And to No Comment, I love the fact that your name's No Comment, because I've got to say no comment, and that's all. But big love to you. Thank you for being in the chat room and all of your interactions. And Patriot, Vagabond, and to Ian Adams as well, and to Alfie Patchin. Great with green tea and coffee. Oh, I didn't know. That's a new one. Did you know? Did you put it in? Have you ever put it in tea, Adam?
Well, when I was on the bus, the GLOBALIST tour bus, and David and Andrea bought some a fuller spectrum version that was infused in coconut oil. So there was often a really nice coffee, and then David mixed a spoonful of this infused coconut oil into that, and that was absolutely lovely. I've got to say, that was.
Oh, I'm liking all of these new kind of ways of consuming it. This is interesting. I would like to hear more about all of these different kind of versatile ways of ingesting it. Is that the right word? Ingesting it?
It's kind of it's buttered is probably the description. You kind
like can of butter.
Yeah, you kind of let it seep into the coconut oil over time, and then fish out the material, and then you're left with a nice enriched cocoa butter, aren't you, that you can then use in dressings. Like I said, it was really nice in a small espresso with a teaspoon of that in, with a bit of sugar and water.
Thank you for that. Cheers. Because I this is something I'm interested in. I'm interested in the whole. Well, I'm like mesmerized by it. I feel like if I can learn late, I want to teach other people early. And even if just teaching is just pointing people in the direction. I've had loved ones in my family that I've lost too soon because we were too pig ignorant of not looking into things properly. And even though, like, rest in peace, my auntie Tracy, she was like relatively woke and she really did look after her body, but all she did with cannabis was smoke it. She didn't ingest it in any other way. She didn't extract anything else out of it. Do you know what I mean? She didn't actually fully get the full potential of the cancer killing part of cannabis. And when she got bowel cancer, she went down the straight up medical road, which was annoying for the rest of us to watch. And I say this because we learned late. I had to say goodbye to my auntie Tracy way too soon. And it was almost like the hospital made her ill. The hospital made her ill, Adam. It was like she was absolutely fine. And within 2 trips to the hospital, she was pretty much fighting for her life. And I've seen testimonies of other people with the same condition that my auntie had. And a lot of testimonies of the same condition that my auntie had, where they've gone down this other road and gone away from making their primary source the current method of aggressive treatment, and they've lived to tell the tale. A lot's to be said for that, because it really is a life-saving treatment, isn't it? I mean, I know we're only now going to talk about a dog, but I truly feel if you hadn't have intervened, Mickey wouldn't even be alive today.
Yeah, it's good to see.
It is. And I'm a dog owner myself. I've got my little Kenny, so I know what that is. I've seen it make a difference. I've seen it myself make a difference. From friends, family, and to friends of ours, pets. So I mean, what's to be said for that? We can't get it's beyond a coincidence, isn't it?
Remember, we were walking. This is before the diagnosis of Mickey. We were at Kidderminster. You know, that bloody long walk from the centre to the golf club to the bar. Chatting with Riley, saying, "Yeah, I don't know what I'm going to be doing. You mean dog's dying, basically."
Yeah.
And that dog's better than whenever the kid it must be September, wouldn't it, last year? So that dog's in a better state of health because he stopped moaning, talking about the dog. Have you noticed as well?
Yep.
Fairly well.
I almost feel like no news is good news, if you know what I mean. I mean that in the nicest possible way. I kind of feel like if he's not saying anything's wrong, then everything must be okay for now. And I'm like, yep, that's great. Because that's not what I thought was going to be the case until you intervened.
There was a lot of dedication from Riley, and a lot of love from him, and communication with him and Mickey Moo.
Love it. Absolutely love it. You see, like I said, it's life-changing stuff. It is life-changing stuff. And this is something that we are going to shine more of a light on as we go through the months, because it's something that we constantly, like the globe being a lie, we need to keep it at the forefront. Now, I've been excited for this, for the whole show. I've been excited for it since I saw the link drop, and I spoke to Dr. John. I've just been like, my dad's been on the phone and all sorts, and I've been like, ugh. So yeah, I do have something that I feel like I should do a drum roll or something. But as I said about half an hour ago, we've been going for about an hour, so I'm going to cut for a break. But now it's like an hour and a half, so I'm still going to cut for that break because I told you an hour and a half ago would be in 45 minutes. You can tell this is like Roxanne all over. I have the best of intentions to keep things to my little schedule, and it just doesn't go like that. Right, so we are cutting for a break so that everyone can use the ladies and the gentlemen's room and get a bevy, because when we come back, we're going to be talking about the Black Swan.
Oh,
right?
I love Black Swan.
So do I. It's like I know people will look at me and just think, Roxanne, really? Is Black Swan your thing? It's like, it is. If you know me and you know my dad, you're going to know that this is like this. But the thing is
your dad into the Black Swan now?
My dad's always been into the whole P&Q thing. Dad's always been into that. My dad's a world of information. My dad knows the most random stuff, and I'll just think, why do you? If there was ever a show I would have sent my dad on, would be Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? Because see all those random questions, boom, just like that. So, yeah, my dad's into it big time. And this video, I feel like, is going to help everybody. And if I can just grab your attention for long enough, this is a real usable tool in really kind of understanding the bigger picture of what's going on here, because I think people get caught up in arguments here, there, and everywhere. And the whole P&Q thing, for me, yeah, you would have to have a dad like my dad to understand my life. It's just, you know, when a subject comes up and it becomes personal to you for personal reasons, it's personal. It's personal. I'd have to get my dad on the Really Woke show to convey to you how personal this is. And my dad would have to talk about ribbons, mental ribbons he's given me through the years about things, and why Nathan's and Quantum Eraser's channel resonates so much with my dad. I do share those links with my dad, you know. Just know this, Adam. My dad's a quantum eraser viewer, like straight up.
You know what I'd love to hear? Nathan, it's Roxanne's dad here.
I don't know. Do you know what? The amount of times my dad killed it. My dad, after the 15th time he said it, I said, Roddy, my dad's just not going to stop. He's actually not going to stop just for the entire time we're on this show. He's going to be... Sorry.
Yeah. No,
Oh,
yeah.
gosh.
I'd like I say, he want it back anyway.
He needs me there to help him with the tech. And with this whole lockdown thing, going to Glasgow is not local to me from London. So I'm a bit stuck, but I really do want to go and see my dad. So as soon as I am able to, I'm going to. But in the meantime, like my dad and his wife, they're a bit like hopeless where it comes to technology. So getting my dad, even on the word I'm not allowed to say, shackle set up, we're not there. But I'm thinking the best I could probably do with my dad, right, is FaceTime and then do what Dolly does and just hold my phone up so you can just see my dad there, you know? So yeah, we'll try something because my dad's got opinions. We can't shut him up once he starts. So yeah, we're going to cut for a break now. And then when we come back, we're going to go over to the video that I want to show you. It's 30 minutes long. And I'm hoping that I've kind of angled my whole program tonight to showcase this. So yeah, thank you for going through everything that you've gone through so far. After this, I've also got a couple of really woke reports to show you, one from Israel and one from London, that we're going to pop on to the end as well, because they're relevant and they're part of the Really Woke show as well. So we've still got loads to show you, even though we're an hour and a half into this. But yeah, I'm going to share the screen and I'm going to allow you all a few minutes to hear this in the background because I really, really like it. As I said, I've had it on repeat for a long time. And the wonderful thing about this screen that you're looking at right now is it's just a black screen. So you're going, oh, wait, we're not even getting a clue about what she's going to play. She's just going to play it. That's right, guys. I'm going to play it. You'll wonder to yourself, how does she find off-key stuff like this? But then you just remember my name's Roxanne and the girl that you've known for the last couple of years is not really a normal chick, is she? So thank you for tuning in, and I hope some of you don't tune out when you hear it. Like Rich said before his internet went down, if you have to not optically look at it, that's understandable, but just, you know, get into the track because it's a good one. So yeah, we'll be back in a couple of minutes, and
I've been trying to hold. I've been on my own for long enough. Maybe you can show me how to love. Maybe I'm going through withdrawals. You don't even have to do too much. You can turn me on with just a touch. Baby, I'm going on. The city's small and empty. No one's around to judge me. I can see clearly when you're gone. I said, oh, I'm blinded by the lights. No, I can't sleep until I feel your touch. I said, oh, I'm drowning in the night. We don't like this. You don't want my trust. Hey, hey, hey. I'm running out of time, 'cause I can see the sun light up the sky. So I hit the road in overdrive, baby. Oh, the city's small and empty. No one's around to judge me. I can see clearly when you're gone. I said, oh, I'm blinded by the lights. No, I can't sleep until I feel your touch. I said, oh, I'm drowning in the night. We don't like this. You don't want my trust. Hey, hey, just looking for you to let you know. I can never say it on the phone. We'll never and you know this time I said, oh, I'm blinded by the lights. No, I can't sleep until I feel your touch. Hey, hey, hey. I said, oh, I'm blinded by the lights. No, I can't sleep until I feel your touch.
Yep. I had to. I saw it. I couldn't get it out of my head. And then I was like, you know what? I'm going to use that for the break. I'm going to share the link in the chat room for all of you just now. That is an account that I follow on Instagram, which is where most of my mad stuff comes from, Instagram. So yeah, that was Maestro Zikos with his rendition of a track by The Weeknd called Blinding Lights. So the original track is by The Weeknd. It's called Blinding Lights, and that is a rendition of it done by Maestro Zikos. And he kind of, that is what his channel's full of. He's done Bohemian Rhapsody. He's done, the list is endless. The list is literally endless. So yeah, go check it out. It's good for entertainment. It's good for SH1Ts and giggles as well. I'm currently getting messages from Double as well, Adam, that his internet is not. He's struggling to even get 3G. So he's just trying to get it all back up and running. And as soon as he does, he'll be back in. Did you like that? That was a bit of a giggle, wasn't it?
Well, what are you playing next? Is what I'm. Is it?
Oh, is that
John
what you want to know?
Karen B?
You say what?
Is it John with Karen B?
It's the link I got from Quantum Eraser from Nathan Oakley, and it was spectroscopy PhD versus the best one.
No,
that's not the one. I've not picked the right one. I want the one.
Chocoloscopy.
You what? Can you send me the link? Because I think I've got the wrong. I'm so glad I didn't share the screen yet.
No, I'm on about the pronunciation of spectroscopy.
Oh,
it's changed in honor of Chocolate saying. So it's chocoloscopy. Because the borders can't say spectroscopy properly anyway.
Huh?
Spectroscopy.
Yes, I actually got yeah, hold on. Let me just go to my Skype because I know I got one from Dr. John. This much I do know. So hold on.
He's done a load that I've not had a chance. He sent a big one.
And do you know what? The harsh thing about this is that even though I follow him on YouTube, do you know that they shadow ban his channel from me? Even when I search, I have to search for it. They hide it on my own subscriptions, and then when I go to find it, they hide it from me. So it's not very fair, really. Okay, so the one I've got, sorry, my bad. Nathan's video was 30 minutes long, and so was Dr. John's video was 30 minutes long. I'm talking about the one that was from the 16th of May, an investigation into the Black Swan phenomenon viewing from Worthing Pier to Sea Lane Cafe. That's the one I was showing. But do you have a better suggestion? Because I thought...
No. Like I said, I've literally got through it. Half of the one that's narrated by Karen B, and I've been too busy with the shed, finishing my shed roof. So I've not finished.
I think this is the one. I think this is the one. It is, yes. It's narrated by Karen, this one.
Yeah.
So yeah. Perfect. So this is the one. Cool. So yeah, sorry about that. Oh, crikey. I didn't mean to leave the camera on Adam as well. My bad. I am still a bit of an amateur here, guys. I'm trying to do it all as well. Shout out to all of you in the chat room. I'm going to share this video. This is from Dr. John's channel, and I'm going to share the link right here. And if you're not subscribed to Dr. John, make sure you get over there and subscribe and hit that notification bell and inform yourselves. And if you go into the description, as I said earlier on, you will see two links for Adam, one for Iron Realm Media and one for Quantum Eraser. And that's another place that you'll find Dr. John as well. Am I right? I'm right.
Yeah.
Cool.
Obviously, I'm part of Iron Realm and Ballbusters, and John's a
That's it.
as well. So
That's right. That's right. It sure is. So here we go. This is the video here. And if you're all sitting comfortably, then I will begin. Here we go.
An investigation into the Black Swan phenomenon. The recent black swan, the horizon behind the oil platforms being promoted by Nathan Oakley and Quantum Eraser, inspired me to investigate this phenomenon. What is a black swan? A black swan is a photographic or observational evidence that shows the horizon behind an object that is beyond the physical geometric horizon of a sphere. The distances involved are based on a mathematical geometric calculation that uses the radius of the sphere and the observer's height. The calculation is an accepted and proven mathematical formula. If you are not familiar with the black swan phenomenon, then the above description might sound vague and unclear. A visual representation will now follow that will hopefully put the above description into a more understandable manner. A man standing on a sphere would observe the physical geometric horizon at a certain distance, which on the diagram is represented by the red and yellow circle. The physical geometric horizon is the maximum distance that the sea and sky can be observed to meet. This is what is observed. No imaginary other horizon or second horizon where the sky and sea meet can be observed past the line of the geometric horizon represented by the red and yellow circle. Why is there a physical geometric horizon? Obviously, you cannot see around a sphere. Due to the geometric shape of a sphere, there is a specific maximum physical distance an observer can see that is determined by the height of the observer and the size of the sphere. The maximum distance is called the physical geometric horizon. If we live on a physical geometric globe of known circumference with a radius of 6,371 kilometers, 3,959 miles, then the physical geometric horizon, the line where the sea is observed to meet the sky, must be at a specific distance for an observer at a certain height. No imaginary other horizon or second horizon where the sea meets the sky again can be visible past the physical geometric horizon, because the physical geometric horizon is where the sea meets the sky. Obviously, on a sphere or globe, the sea is only observed to meet the sky once. What about weather and optics? Misty, foggy, etc. conditions can prevent the observer seeing the physical geometric horizon. The observer no longer sees the physical geometric horizon, represented by the red and yellow circle, but rather an apparent horizon represented by the black and white circle. Apparent meaning seeming real or true, but not necessarily so. This is what is observed. The quality of the optical device being used will determine whether the observer can see the sea meet the sky at the physical geometric horizon. If the optical device does not permit the observer to see the sea meet the sky at the physical geometric horizon, the observer will see a closer apparent horizon instead. This series of observations were carried out between Worthing Pier and Sea Lane Cafe Buoy. The distance, according to Google Earth, is 3.7 kilometers or 2.3 miles. The height of camera lens center ranged from approximately 50 centimeters to 30 centimeters above tide level. For the purpose of the observation, the higher value of 50 centimeters above tide level will be used. The camera used was a Nikon P900. Where is the physical geometric horizon relative to the observer? Based on the Earth being a globe, sphere, with a radius of 6,371 kilometers, 3,959 miles, the physical geometric horizon for the observer at an eye height of half a meter will be 2.5 kilometers or 1.6 miles. Based on Earth being a sphere of a known radius, the physical geometric horizon is 2.5 kilometers or 1.6 miles from the observer. The physical geometric horizon is here, represented by the red and yellow circle. No other horizon or second horizon can be observed past the physical geometric horizon that is 2.5 kilometers or 1.6 miles from the observer. No imaginary other horizon or second horizon can be seen past this point if the Earth is a globe with a radius of 6,371 kilometers or 3,959 miles. Viewing from Worthing Pier to Sea Lane Cafe Buoy. Date, 9th of May 2020, Saturday. Time, 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. approximately. The Saturday morning observation. Location, Worthing Pier. Worthing Pier aerial view. Location, Sea Lane Cafe, Faring, Worthing. Sea Lane Cafe, Faring, Worthing, bird's eye view, Rocky Groin Breakwater. Locating the buoy, Sea Lane Cafe, Faring. Rocky Groin Breakwater in the distance, Old Groin Breakwater in the foreground. Sea Lane Cafe in the distance behind the Old Groin Breakwater. The buoy, the end of Old Groin Breakwater. Look at the buoy. What kind of buoy is it? This is a cardinal marker buoy. The two black downward pointing arrows warn navigators to stay south, a cardinal direction, of the buoy due to the Old Groin Breakwater, which when submerged poses a threat to boats. An independent YouTube video showing the buoy. Weather information, Saturday, 9th of May 2020. Tide data, Saturday, 9th of May 2020. Low tide on Saturday morning was at 7 a.m. The observations were made between approximately 8 to 9 a.m., during which time the tide was gently rising, as can be seen in the video footage. What do the real-life observations show? Please watch or scan through the following recorded observations. Links will be in the description. What was observed? From observing the video footage, it can be stated: A. No inferior mirage of the buoy was observable. B. No superior mirage of the buoy was observable. C. The tide is gently rising and coming in, gently due to the profile of Worthing Beach. D. The image of the buoy is hazy. E. The yellow color of the buoy is bright. How the video footage will be analyzed. To make the presentation of the observations fair, the following will occur. 1. A video still screenshot will be taken and directly copied and pasted into a PowerPoint slide. 2. The size of the screenshot will not be changed in any way. No vertical or horizontal stretching will occur. 3. A single contrast, saturation, and temperature manipulation will be made to the video still screenshot and be displayed. 4. Video still screenshots will be presented that support the horizon being and not being behind the buoy. 5. Carry out your own watching and manipulation on the video footage. 6. You must decide whether the horizon is behind the buoy or is not behind the buoy. Video still screenshots in support of the horizon being behind the buoy. Video still screenshot taken from video 3, time 3 minutes 34 seconds, supporting evidence for the horizon is behind the buoy. Video still screenshot taken from video 3, time 3 minutes 34 seconds, the horizon is behind the buoy, manipulation, contrast 70%. The horizon is behind the buoy, manipulation, saturation 400%. Manipulation temperature 11,500. Video still screenshots in support of the horizon not being behind the buoy. Video still screenshot taken from video 4, time 4 minutes 15 seconds, supporting evidence for the horizon is not behind the buoy. Video still screenshot taken from video 4, time 4 minutes 15 seconds. The horizon is not behind the buoy. Manipulation, contrast, 70%. The horizon is not behind the buoy. Manipulation, saturation 400%. Manipulation, temperature 11,500. You decide, is the horizon behind the buoy or not? Viewing from Worthing Pier to Sea Lane Cafe buoy. Date, 9th of May 2020. Saturday, time 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. approximately. The Saturday evening observation. The height of camera lens center ranged from approximately 50 centimeters to 40 centimeters above tide level. For the purpose of the observation, the higher value of 50 centimeters above tide level will be used. The camera used was a Nikon P900. Weather information, Saturday, 9th of May 2020. Tide data, Saturday, 9th of May 2020. The final low tide of the Saturday was at 7:30 p.m. The observations were made between approximately 6 to 7 p.m., during which time the tide was gently going out, as can be seen in the videos. What do the real-life observations show? Please watch or scan through the following recorded observations. Links will be in the description. What was observed? From observing the video footage, it can be stated: A. No inferior mirage of the buoy was observable. B. No superior mirage of the buoy was observable. C. Very limited to no distortion is visible. D. The tide is gently going out, gently due to the profile of Worthing Beach. E. The image of the buoy is sharp and clear. Video still screenshots in support of the horizon being behind the buoy. Video still screenshot taken from video 7, time 5 minutes 8 seconds, supporting evidence for the horizon is behind the buoy. The horizon is behind the buoy. Manipulation contrast 70%. Manipulation saturation 400%. The horizon is behind the buoy. Manipulation temperature 11,500. The horizon is behind the buoy. Video still screenshots in support of the horizon not being behind the buoy. Video still screenshot taken from video 7, time 9 minutes 4 seconds, supporting evidence for the horizon is not behind the buoy. Manipulation contrast 70%. The horizon is not behind the buoy. Manipulation saturation 400%. The horizon is not behind the buoy. Manipulation temperature 11,500. The horizon is not behind the buoy. You decide, is the horizon behind the buoy or not? Questions from the observations. A number of points arise from the morning and evening observations. 1. The vertical height size of the buoy at full zoom appears to differ between the morning and evening observation. 2. The image of the buoy in the morning observation is hazy and distorted compared to the evening observation. 3. The brightness of the yellow color of the buoy at full zoom appears to differ between the morning and evening observation. The conditions at the time of these observations will now be explored. As can be seen from the two video stills, there is a significant difference in the sharpness of the image and the size of the buoy at full zoom between the morning and evening observations. The vertical height size of the buoy is observably different. Obviously, the size of the buoy itself did not physically change, so what caused the size differences between the two images? What can be factually stated? In the morning, the sun was behind the observer and shining on the buoy and sea in front of the camera. It was brighter during the morning observation, hence the bright yellow color of buoy observed. In the evening, the sun was in front of the camera and shining on the rear of the buoy relative to the camera. causing the side of the buoy facing the camera to be in shadow and the colors to look washed out. The main factors that may have contributed to the difference between the video footage images of the morning observation compared to the evening observation are position of the sun, light intensity, air and sea temperature, rate of water evaporation from the sea, air humidity, air density. No doubt there are others. Since none of the above stated factors were measured, making any statement about the possible effects of them would be an unproven, worthless assumption. It can be stated that the various environmental conditions between the camera and the buoy were the cause of the difference in the images recorded. The atmospheric conditions have caused a vertical height size difference in the image in the two observations. It could be said that the image from the morning observation is compressed relative to the image from the evening observation. Conversely, it can be stated that the image taken in the evening is stretched relative to the image taken in the morning. There are no wrong and right photographs. You may say, well, what should the image and buoy really look like in real life? Which image is the correct representation of the sea, sky, and buoy? Both images are correct for the distance they were taken and the conditions they were taken under. They are exactly what they both should look like. It can only be said that the numerous and variable environmental conditions as well as the workings and quality of the optical device will determine the image observed. To determine that it was the various environmental conditions between the camera and the buoy that were the cause of the difference in the images recorded, another observation was required. What was required was an overcast morning with limited light intensity that could be compared to the Saturday morning observation. Fortunately, Sunday morning was that morning. What follows are the weather conditions and images of the Sunday morning observation. Viewing from Worthing Pier to Sea Lane Cafe Buoy. Date, 10th of May 2020. Day, Sunday. Time, 9:20 a.m. to 10:20 a.m. approximately. The Sunday morning observation. The height of camera lens center ranged from approximately 50 centimeters to 40 centimeters above tide level. For the purpose of the observation, the higher value of 50 centimeters above tide level will be used. The camera used was a Nikon P900. Weather information, Sunday, 10th of May, 2020. Tide data, Sunday, 10th of May, 2020. The first low tide of Sunday was at 7:51 a.m. The observations were made between approximately 9:20 and 10:20 a.m., during which time the tide was rising, as can be seen in the videos. What do the real-life observations show? Please watch or scan through the following recorded observations. Links will be in the description. What was observed? From observing the video footage, it can be stated, A, no inferior mirage of the buoy was observable, B, no superior mirage of the buoy was observable, C, the tide is rising and coming in, D, the image is hazy compared to the Saturday evening footage, and E, the images are clearer than the Saturday morning footage. Video still screenshots in support of the horizon being behind the buoy. Video still screenshot taken from video 12, time 3 minutes 48 seconds. Supporting evidence for the horizon is behind the buoy. The horizon is behind the buoy. Manipulation contrast 70%. The horizon is behind the buoy. Manipulation saturation 400%. Manipulation temperature 11,500. The horizon is behind the buoy. Video still screenshots in support of the horizon not being behind the buoy. Video still screenshot taken from video 10, time 2 minutes 53 seconds, supporting evidence for the horizon is not behind the buoy. The horizon is not behind the buoy. Manipulation contrast 70%. The horizon is not behind the buoy. Manipulation saturation 400%. Manipulation temperature 11,500. The horizon is not behind the buoy. You decide, is the horizon behind the buoy or not? Having two observations from the same location under different environmental conditions allows a comparison to be made. Saturday morning, bright. Sunday morning, overcast. On the left, supporting the horizon is not behind the buoy, and on the right, supporting the horizon is behind the buoy. An image from each observation supporting the horizon being behind the buoy. All images manipulation contrast 70%. An image from each observation supporting the horizon not being behind the buoy. All images manipulation contrast 70%. Conclusion. Have you decided whether the horizon is behind or not behind the buoy? If you have decided that the horizon is not behind the buoy, then you could live on a globe, a plane, or some other geometric shape. If you have decided that the horizon is behind the buoy, then you cannot live on a globe, Earth, with the radius of 6,371 kilometers or 3,959 miles. What about refraction? The word refraction is a term being used in a frivolous way by some people when they talk about a black swan image. This term will be explained and the inaccurate assumptions around its use corrected. You may hear a person say, "On the globe Earth, you can see the horizon behind the buoy because of the refraction of light." A person that makes such a statement is implying that they believe that they live on a globe and that they can see the horizon behind the buoy because light is refracting, curving as it travels in a downward direction around the curvature of the globe. A visual representation of this statement is shown below. The person making this statement has made a begging the question logical fallacy. What does this mean? This means that for this statement to be validated and taken as being true and factual, first, the person making the claim must prove that they live on a globe if they are stating that light curves around the globe. An example of a begging the question logical fallacy would be a person stating that Fairy's favorite food is chocolate. Before they prove that Fairy's favorite fruit is chocolate, they would first have to prove that fairies exist. If the person cannot prove that fairies exist, then the latter part of their statement is moot. To prove that they live on a globe, the person would have to present empirical evidence based on a method that is repeatable by the majority of people. Pictures, images, or video of a globe Earth are not acceptable. There are pictures and videos of fairies. Also not acceptable are stories of Greeks that supposedly proved things with sticks long ago, computer models, non-equivalent demonstrations, and appeals to consensus and authority. The person must provide a detailed method and with it time and date stamped video footage of the method being carried out. The method can then be scrutinized to examine its validity and repeated and reproduced to determine if comparable results can be obtained. So the person stating refraction, implying they live on a globe, first must prove that their method is valid and not based on logical fallacy. This has not been done yet. If a person could prove that they live on a globe, they would then have to prove that light curves around the curvature of the globe. They would have to prove that certain atmosphere conditions causes the light to usually refract in a downward direction under standard, normal, everyday conditions in a temperate zone country. This is a cause and effect relationship. The density and optical density atmosphere is the cause of the refraction of light, the effect. Being a cause and effect relationship means that this comes under the scientific method. The density, optical density of the atmosphere would be the independent variable, or presumed cause, and the extent that refraction occurs, if at all, would be the dependent variable, or the effect. The person would have to manipulate the density, optical density, of the atmosphere whilst controlling all other relevant variables and visually recording the path of the beams or rays of light. I'm assuming they would use laser beams. The person must provide a method with video footage including dates, times, and locations of it being carried out. The method can then be scrutinized and repeated to check its validity. This has not been done yet. Laser light shows over land and water can be seen on Google Images and YouTube. Check these out and see if you can observe laser light curving in a downward direction. But, the person says, light only refracts in a downward direction gradually over long distances. The person has made a claim. They must now manipulate the optical density of the atmosphere whilst controlling all other relevant variables and visually recording the path of the beams and rays of light. No computer models, fish tank demonstrations, assumptions, logical fallacies, or stories. If they do not carry out the required experiment as described, then their claim is a mere fairy story. Light refraction, the facts. In physics, refraction is the change in direction of a wave passing from one medium to another or from a gradual change in the medium. A ray of light which enters a more dense optical medium at a non-perpendicular angle will refract, change its direction, passing from a less dense optical medium to a more dense optical medium. The light will refract towards the normal, the blue dotted line. The normal line is drawn perpendicular to the new medium. Simply, the direction of travel of the light shifts away from the less dense medium it leaves. Light traveling around a curve. For light to travel around the supposed curve of the Earth, the light would have to continually refract in a downward direction relative to its angle of emission, otherwise it would keep traveling in a straight line and higher into the atmosphere. For light to travel around the supposed curve, the light would have to be continually changing its direction of travel, refracting as represented in the diagram below by the red arrow lines. This is a very simplistic representation. The refraction in this model is assumed to occur continually in a gradual, gentle curving motion over a long distance. This is not assumed to occur at sharp angles like in this image. The validity of this model must be examined. For light to travel around a curve from point A to point B, the light would have to continually refract in a downward direction. For the light to keep refracting in a downward direction, it would be necessary for the atmosphere to keep becoming denser, as shown in the diagram below. 1, the least dense air, to 5, the most dense air. The yellow and black dots indicate light moving from less dense atmosphere to the more dense atmosphere and refracting in a downward direction. The black dotted line indicates the direction the light would have continued to take if refraction had not occurred. The atmosphere is not layered in such vertical sections, so light cannot travel in this manner. But let's go with the model and test its validity further. What would happen if a ray or beam of light was sent in the opposite direction from point B to point A? As the ray of light moves from the more dense atmosphere, non-perpendicularly, into the less dense atmosphere, it would refract in an upward direction and not reach point A. This refraction model can only potentially work in one direction. Real life works in both directions. This vertically layered refraction model has been established to be invalid and wrong. As the previous refraction model has been established to be invalid, the only other refraction model will be examined. In the horizontally layered refraction model, the atmosphere is layered according to density and air pressure. Generally, the densest layer of atmosphere is at the bottom, and the density decreases with height as shown on the diagram below, 1 being the least dense to 5 the most dense. Obviously, due to weather, etc., the layers mix and the density of each layer is variable and changing. A ray of light, example a laser beam, is emitted, released from point A. Point A is only half a meter above the ground. The density of the air changes only very, very gradually with height from the ground for the first 150 meters. The ray of light emitted from point A cannot reach point B by the path shown by the green line. The red ray of light will not refract in a downward direction due to there being no significant atmospheric density difference between half a meter above ground level compared to 1.5 meters above ground level. The necessary refraction required for this horizontally layered refraction model to be tenable cannot happen at the heights and distances presented. The atmospheric density differential is not present. Do you see any refraction in a downward direction? This horizontally layered refraction model has been established to be invalid and erroneous. Refraction summary. The globe, vertically and horizontally layered refraction models have been examined. Through application of Snell's law and the known accepted optical principles of refraction, the globe vertically and horizontally layered refraction models have been established to be invalid and erroneous. If anybody says, on the globe Earth, you can see the horizon behind the buoy because of the refraction of light, then they are choosing to ignore the observable facts and demonstrable principles. If you have decided that the horizon is not behind the buoy, then you could live on a globe or plane or some other geometric shape. If you have decided that the horizon is behind the buoy, then you cannot live on a globe Earth with a radius of 6,371 kilometers, 3,959 miles. My sincere thanks to Karen B for her technical support in the production, and dedicated to BMLSB69, the original oil rig video footage.
Awesome. Thank you so much to Dr. John there and Karen B for the narration. I'm going to just keep it in the screen for a second because I really feel like the end screen there's my broski. The end screen there is really the most valid part of this. I feel this is really important because I know a lot of people are like, oh, it's boring. It's going over shop talk. But I feel like this is a real deal breaker for some people, because at the end of this video, your options are somewhat limited if you're going to have an informed opinion about this. And I'll yield the floor first and foremost because I have a lot to say. So yeah, Adam, I'll let you go first. But I thought it would be worthwhile keeping that screen on for a second because it's useful for optics.
Yeah, first of all, respect, John. Great presentation from him.
Love it. My daughter was even in the chat room. Jess was even in the chat room. As soon as she saw that video getting played, she was like, yeah. Let me share that link real quick with my friends. Hold on, let me just zoom into this. And thanks to Jess, it's why we went through the whole video. She was like, please play the whole thing, Mum. Play the whole thing. Play the whole thing. So this is helping my daughter with her arguments as well, Adam. She's only 17.
The beautiful thing about the Black Swan is what we see here. These are observations that weren't done with the Black Swan in mind. They were done. Were you there on these ones?
I'm just gonna, you know what? I'll get back to you on that one. I can neither confirm nor deny at this point, but I may have been, depending on when it was done. But no, I can neither confirm nor deny.
But point being, retrospectively, these images were taken, and with the way in which it's been formulated, these images have greater significance now due to the way in which we view a black swan and the statements in which it entails, which aren't our statements, they're baller statements, which bind them to their geometry, and that's what I think John so eloquently demonstrated there. I think it was brilliant. To leave it, like I say, with images like that, and there's not one of them, is there, where the horizon is even level with the boy. Can we just get this right?
Buoy.
No, it's not a buoy, is it? It's not density and buoyancy.
It's actually a subject of contention in the chat room. Karen's pronunciation of boy. Buoy.
Buoy. There's no E in it, though. It doesn't make any sense. If it was B-O-U-E-Y, then maybe it'd be buoy.
It's the way Karen says it, though. She says it in such an endearing way that I can't help but like it. I was very endeared to that throughout that.
I haven't actually heard. I missed Karen saying anything at all because I was having the connection issues.
He was beating up the internet. He was beating up the internet for pretty much half an hour.
I
you would
took the
grab
dog out for a walk.
Hmm?
I took Alfie out for a walk to see if I could
bless.
get connection on my phone. And yeah, no.
Don't worry, bro. We can watch that again after the show. We'll watch it together again after. I'm happy to watch that again. I'm down. I'm down.
I mean,
shout
I
out.
gotta be honest with you, right? All this kind of bores me because
That's what I'm saying. A lot of people in the chat room might maybe saying the same thing as well. But even though it's boring,
I mean, it only me. I'm saying it bores me because I'm already sold on this whole thing. I can see Gran Canaria, I can see El Hierro, I can see La Palma from here in Tenerife. I'm sold on it. I don't need this. Right, so it's brilliant that it's just another bit of proof that there is zero curvature, and if there's zero curvature, the globe cannot exist as they portray it to us. So we'll keep on hammering that one home, haven't we?
yeah.
Until
There's
it
people in the
sinks
chat
in with
room as
people.
well, Adam and Double, that are saying, I've got Jesse saying, I live in Calgary and I can see the Rocky Mountains, which are over 50 miles away. That can't happen. It's true.
When people start paying attention.
That sort of stuff is slightly different to a black swan. And I think for years we've observed stuff in the distance, be them mountain ranges, whatever, which if we were on a ball, they should be below the visible horizon. Yet they're there, and that's often been described as looming.
Especially when there's an expanse of sea in between, because if you're looking at 2 points over land, you could say that the land can drop below the sea level, and so that area in between those 2 points of land, you can't say definitely that, because there could be a big dent in the globe, couldn't there? Could be a massive dent where you're looking, but when there's an expanse of water there, water doesn't bend. So that's the key, isn't it?
Well, it is, but I suppose in this sense, we're allowing them to beg the question. So where we would say, water finds a level, even if we allow them for level to mean equidistant from the center of a presupposed ball Earth, this is where the black swan gets them. That geometry binds them to something.
Is the science of waves and wave formation, is that brought into this at all? Because what you've got to take into consideration as well is the depth of water, the amount of water that you have. That body of water will determine the swell that definitely happens. So between the peaks and the troughs, you've had in the middle of the peaks and the troughs, that's actually that's the point that you're stood at, isn't it? When if you're stood at on land. So like with the buoy, I personally, the buoy's bouncing on waves, isn't it? And if you've got an expanse of water that's doing this, right? If you don't know how deep that water is, you don't know how high those waves can go and how deep the troughs can fall.
Looks a fairly calm day on all those.
Oh, this is a calm day, obviously.
There is
have to do it on a calm day. Like
there is the amplitude, wave amplitude that you do have to take into effect, Rich. But all that actually does is obscuration of objects at the actual surface edge. What it does is obviously a 2 foot wave a mile away has a bigger impact in your observation of 4 miles away and 6 miles away. It obscures more than just the 2 foot that it obscures at the 2 miles away. So it does have an effect, but it's at the bottom end, almost from the bottom up. So these are some of the things where white swans, you would see, would be this wave height. So you've got a choppy day. Suddenly, that tanker that's 15 miles away, it appears to be half obscured by curvature. Well, that's the thing they've always used without the mathematics. But to take any white swan picture where obscuring occurs from the bottom up by stuff as you described, they would call that a white swan and nail it down firmly as the leading edge of a ball as its cause.
Do you like what I did there? I was Keanu Reeves. I was Keanu Reeves then. Did you get it?
Get it? Got it. Good,
I was
mate.
playing devil's advocate.
I've also put the link for Dr. John's channel in the chat room. So if you are not familiar with his work or what he does, please click that link, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and get stuck in to all of the observations he's done. He's done an incredible amount of selfless efforts to kind of show people and get people involved in group observations. I myself took part in quite a few observations down in Brighton, and he did the Norfolk Broad one. He did the Bedford Level observation as well. He was also at the convention as well. So yeah, please go and check out his channel. He's a great guy, and as I said, has done an incredible amount of selfless efforts to get the truth across to people.
That's a great video he's put there. And it's a shame Noel's not here because he's up with the flat earth debates, but particularly towards the end there, he addresses, and that's what's really good about this, because it really is good armament for people. At the end there, it goes into ray tracing, which is the bullshit that the ballers give us, that this crap can bend around the earth. And yes, with a significant density change, you can get, like with the saturated sugar solutions, get light to bend. What John
in saturated sugar solutions,
exactly,
because we're all breathing saturated sugar solutions right now.
That's the requirement of density change, isn't it, to do it? But what John does there in that, I think, is really takes it through in great detail. Well, yes, Vagabond, a clearer explanation of the black swan. I think what John's done there is, Dr. John D there has gone through his retrospectively taken this. This isn't a black swan setup, but look at it. That out of the consequence of it, there's a clear horizon, which the ballers would tell you is the leading edge of the ball. And what he's saying just from these shots, and I think there's knowing John, there's a lot more work to come. So there'll be a lot more shots, but what this is showing, just pulling from his, is exactly that. But I think what John does better than we did on Ball Busters yesterday is what I was saying, is address, Vagabond, that nuance that the ballers will come back to you with, that light can bend around a supposed ball earth. And he does it, and I think explains it exceptionally well, that yes, it could with gradient change, but that gradient change doesn't exist in our atmosphere over the supposed height changes that would be required for the observations that he's made. And it's a real good rumpus slapper.
And maybe if they were able to prove that light bends around, oh no, actually I've just thought about, they say that they bounce radio signals off. Actually they say they bounce them off the Earth's atmosphere, don't they?
They say the radio signals and stuff like that have an equivalent mathematical bullshit, which is 4/3 R, and it's supposed to get to a certain height within certain atmospheric changes, and it creates a ducting effect that then creates this 4/3 R, which is the bullshit excuse as to why you can get Wi-Fi and such transmissions. There's other reasons where you're bouncing off the ionosphere and that for CB radios and all that sort of stuff. But those, There's all sorts of nonsense instead of just, you know, there was nothing in the way because it was sending it over a flat plane.
Ockers Razor, man. Ockers Razor.
Razor. So when we're going for about 2 hours and 21 minutes, and I do have a couple of more things that I genuinely want to go through, and I'll go through this one first, because I genuinely want to let you all see. I'm just going to share the screen for this one because there's no need for me to do this. I just want to know if anyone's seen this. I have sent the link. So with a bit of luck, you will have seen it. Pharmacy Board has loosened restrictions on hydroxy prescriptions, reversing course. The Texas State Board of Pharmacy issued a new rule that no prescriptions for hydroxy can be dispensed without a diagnosis, then changed their tune. Dr. Livette Lozano, who has been in medical practice for over 20 years, was shocked to learn that in March that she would be required to share her patient's diagnosis with the pharmacist before prescriptions for hydroxy and azithromycin, can't ever say that, would be dispensed. On March the 20th, the State Board of Pharmacy issued a new rule that no prescriptions for hydroxy and azroth could be dispensed without a diagnosis consistent with evidence for its use. Never before have we had to turn in a diagnosis with a prescription, Lozano told the Texan paper. She's seen about 5 to 6 patients per week for coronavirus. They see a dramatic improvement within 6 to 8 hours, she said. Healthcare attorney Matt, whoever he is, said doctors have called him concerned about the requirement. He said the rule does not violate HIPAA regulations because patient information can be shared for treatment purposes. HIPAA is the bare minimum standard of privacy that patients expect. However, he added, the State Board of Pharmacy published their rule on its website with the explanation that it was meant to prevent hoarding of the medication drug during the crisis. We've had pharmacists calling early on saying that people were asking for 400 tablets on some prescriptions. The board members gave this guidance to pharmacists. The rule was not a guidance, but a mandate. It also included a 14-day supply limitation unless the patient was previously established on the medication. Hydroxy is often used to treat lupus and rheumatoid arthritis. Talk to me, Adam. What's going on?
The latter bit does make sense. The latter bit is actually saying unless you're using it for arthritic purposes, then even if you are going to administer it for treatment of COVID, then restrict the supplies that you're giving to a reasonable amount of time to treat COVID. Not give one person 500 toilet rolls. So that last point is correct. It's interesting this because when all this kicked off, what you're seeing here is chicken shit pharmacists that are curtailing to advice and directives, as I said. So what the doctor's complaining about is exactly that. Now, as far as I'm aware, certainly in the UK, when all this shit kicked off, were given what was called professional judgment, which means we can overrule all that kind of bollocks if we I believe in the interest of public health that what I'm doing is correct, so I can give that drug addiction patient his methadone without a prescription, because in these increasingly extraordinary times, I've been empowered to do so. So it would seem contradictory for pharmacists to be able to claim that. Certainly in the UK, that they wouldn't do it. You weren't allowed to do it. You may choose, like in the modern world, to hide behind advice statements. Computer says no, that kind of shit. Yeah, but I think in reality, and this is what I was saying about earlier, doctors are empowered by their credentials to overrule licensing. Pharmacists then have to make a judgment of whether they then dispense it. So this appears to be a great example of cowardice, or not wanting to stray from the status quo or vary from what you think is the status quo because you've been given this advice. You don't know what's going off in the pharmacy down the road, the other pharmacy, this, that, and the other, but via the communication networks, you've been advised that if you get these dodgy doctors coming up writing scripts for this, that, and the other, don't give that. Don't get. Like I said, I think there was a bit of sense at the end, which was about what I've been doing, you know, making sure that everybody's got a bit of everything, not somebody's got all the toilet rolls. Sorry.
No, thank you for that, Adam, because I really feel like this was, as I said, we're going to try and keep everybody updated with the international situation with Roxy, because, you know, from when we started talking about this a couple of months ago, we said this from the get-go. We will keep everybody abreast with what's going on, because the mainstream media, we clearly can see that they're liars and they're untrustworthy and they're not a reliable source for information. We've got to get the information for ourselves.
Well,
I just want to make a quick disclaimer for anybody new to the stream that's going, it's not called Hydroxy, it's called Hydroxy. Listen, it's a very extremely funny joke. And you had to be there. You had to be there, man.
It's a reclassification.
We reclassified it.
Oh, sorry, it's a reclassification.
In the early noughties, benzofluoride, because the Spanish couldn't cope with the ether, became benzoflumethiazide, right? It's perfectly reasonable for comprehension purposes to reclassify a drug. So, unfortunately, it is Hydroxy. It does.
One has to say it that way, though. You have to kind of say it with the accent. Hydroxy.
Hydroxy.
It's a bit like the Philadelphia. Lovely.
It's much, you know, it's much like speaking Mandarin or Japanese. If you don't pronounce it correctly, it means something else. And Hydroxy.
Because that's the kind of voice you will have a few hours after taking it. Because you feel lovely. It's lovely. Just like Philadelphia. It's lovely. Hi, Roxy. It's lovely. Feeling lovely after having some of that. Hi, Roxy. So, yeah, we're going to keep you abreast with it.
Often I'll pull out my credentials, but as far as I'm concerned now, anyone else that says it hydroxychloroquine, they're technically incorrect as far as I'm concerned.
Hi, Roxy for the win.
You heard it here.
You did. You heard it here.
Future students included.
Himself. He used his qualifications there. You know, he's qualified to say things like this. Thank you to our residents.
I mean, it's more than qualifications, man. It's credentials.
Credentials.
Chemist, man.
Credentials, Richard.
He's out of MEAKIN.
That's not that. There is one bit on that's quite interesting, and this has been going a long time now, the Hydroxy, in terms of its interest, use, blah, blah. What we saw there was, like I say, advice in terms of limiting supplies, stopping people hoarding. And at the beginning of this, people were hoarding toilet roll because we were pretty sure we'd need a shit, so we'd need toilet roll still. It's interesting that people are still demanding this drug. Medics are still prescribing this drug. That in itself shows you don't re-prescribe something that somebody just died for. Yeah, you don't re-prescribe it. You only re-prescribe it because you believe it's going to keep working. You only prescribe 600 to give it to a unit or something, to be fair. But what we're seeing is an acceptance, certainly from the individual medics, not any establishments, that this shit has an effect, a beneficial effect. And I think that's why you get advice like that. Because it's advice to a response to an issue that's occurring.
Right. Okay. So, like I said, this will be one to watch because, you know, they're saying that in a few months they may discover places where this combination could have saved a significant number of lives, but we've had deaths because it wasn't used. You know, that could be a very real situation that we're in. So we do need to keep people abreast with this situation and the information that goes with it, because I think we are going to end up as nations across the international plane, we're going to have to end up relying on old school tactics of word of mouth, because the mainstream media is in full attack mode. Like they're like I said, they're fighting for their lives. these people are fighting for their lives. The people that have been in control for a long time, they don't want to let go easily, and they're quite happy to just knock a few people out of the way in the meantime. You know, like when you have a 2-year-old, you know why they're called terrible twos, right? Because they just keep having temper tantrums. But see, when a terrible 2-year-old will have a temper tantrum, sometimes things just end up going flying. Like they throw
the worst
their
thing
toys
about
out
these
their
people, Rox, the worst thing about these people is that if it was a choice between them and the rest of the inhabitants of Earth,
Yeah.
they would choose themselves. That's that they are.
Yeah.
They are our enemy.
Yeah.
I think what you said, you know, when this kicked off early on and we was talking, and I was talking about me not liking flu vaccines and being involved in getting those antivirals out to the nursing homes, so that first time one old dear came down with this shit, everybody was given these drugs. And that was a great thing that I was involved in, trying to promote a way of actually dealing with shit when it happens, not vaccinating people pointlessly.
Yeah.
And what's interesting, what we have here with High Roxy is exactly that. It's not got the associated side effects with the more complicated antiretrovirals, the direct antiretroviral drugs. But what we have here is an ability to stop all the panic. And certainly from my, I can't say objective, but certainly from with my clinical knowledge applied to this, I'm very confused as to why we're not shouting from the rooftops that we have a product here that enables people to recover in a much more rapid rate. Don't worry, populace. We've got this product. Not only that, but actually, you know what? It'll get you better within 5 days. But you know what? Even if you're not dying on your arse and we're worried about your mortality, but because you won't be locked down for months, we've got something here that we've got clinical data that says you're virally free within 14 days. And what you're seeing from the media is lies and deceit to hide this, and that is confusing, because this is like we've got a cure for AIDS. We've got a cure.
I have a question, if that's all right. I do have a question, because you
rant over.
No, please carry on ranting, because this question kind of goes into your rant. I know that I've had a couple of conversations with local pharmacists that aren't prepared to go on camera. And this has been a systemic problem apparently for decades, actually, for as long as Big Pharma. This is something that we spoke about on Weed the People, when they used to have cannabis products in the pharmacies, you know, just about over 80 years ago. So for about 80 years or so, there are already people talking about concerns that they have, that there is massive collusion between the pharmacy boards and pharmaceutical companies who genuinely, on an international scale, Adam, want to prevent the use of inexpensive drugs while they can develop new and, you know, promote more expensive drugs.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
And more synthetic, and therefore more dangerous and harmful to our system.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, they're getting rulings done. They're getting, you know, things published. The guidance that had been changed to the pharmacies about dispensing Roxy and azithromycin. Apparently, the ruling doesn't prevent physicians from prescribing these drugs for an off-label use. But it says to please note that the intended use for the drug is not required for the practitioner if the practitioner determines the furnishing of this information is not in the best interest of the patient. So is that collusion a real worry even for you in the UK? Like, because as you said, why are more not screaming from the rooftops? So is this a time for us to step back and go, hold on, those that aren't like you, that aren't screaming for the rooftops, is it because, you know, there's more in it for them to push expensive drugs and not sell cheap drugs? Or is that a silly question?
No, I think on the ground, there's yes, years when I first started, incentives from Big Pharma were great. So nowadays they struggle to give us post-it notes and a branded pen. It's very difficult how you get stuff. But certainly when I first started, there was holidays, TVs, like big all sorts of real good incentives to just make sure you use their drugs, their brand. There was a lot more money in it then. The way in which pharmacies in the UK were remunerated was much more similar to the US, even though it was paid by. So there was a lot more money floating around. In the UK now, no, everybody's either towing the party line or has some level of. I don't think many. There's not any professionals in any sphere that I know that don't have concerns about their profession. You know, all of us, even the students that come, they have questions. You know, and I love students because they'll make the change.
Well, like I said, we've had students watching tonight, thanks to Jess sharing the link with their friends as well. So thank you to Jess and all of your pals that have watched this evening. I appreciate that massively. So yeah,
I didn't get a note. Screw you, Oakley. I've just seen him. Adam was about to get a big. I didn't, mate. The best I ever got was a really nice Viagra penknife. That was beautiful. It was really high quality.
Viagra penknife. Was it like a Swiss Army Viagra penknife?
I don't know. Yeah, it was like exactly that, but it was all silver and then embezzled Viagra down the side. So I don't know what you were supposed to say when you got that out. But no, like I say, I kind of missed it, Nath, the big bribes. But they were there, you know. But it diminished. The US is a very different thing because it's a lot less regulated. There's not so much the things as nice. You're talking about licensing there. Licensing's kind of irrelevant if a prescriber's prepared to take the risk, and then you've got a losing cut, you know. So there's much bigger incentives for, particularly in the States, for prescribers to favor a particular treatment, a new product. If you
perks here and there, yeah. Is that what they were like? One little backhander there, little TV there, little quick weekend away there. Yeah. Wow. Shady
little membership in a nice golf
plug
club.
Drugs will give you a little membership, little freebie there.
Like I said, Rox, GPs it was an issue for, and that's I'd say from my late 80s, early 90s, and onwards, certainly up to it was a big issue that they wheedled out to the point now. Like I said, I can't get. Honestly, I've had to buy pens. It was something that you never had to do. There was always a Glaxo pen or this pen or that pen, whatever it was. But certainly within the NHS functions, they've wheedled that out. That's happened over increasingly over decades.
Wowzers. Well,
but
like I said,
well bent still. You know,
this is a bit of an eye opener because we all know about big pharma being corrupt, but it's almost like we've just kind of peeled a little layer back and gone, look how sticky that is.
Can I just preface that? Because what's important, that almost has the implication that things aren't bent anymore. That the system has a much better mechanism now for allowing bribery and corruption to filter through. I mentioned it earlier. It's called NICE, the National Institute for Clinical Excellence. And so now that instead of having to bribe individual GPs to use this drug, you only have to bribe a panel that then say to all the GPs, well, for this condition with these things, this is the first choice drug, this is the second choice drug, this is your tertiary drug, you know, this is the order in which you choose things. So the bribery is done. It's much more efficient. You've got to pay less people off.
So they can afford to pay more money to less people. Even pay individually, to pay them much more money, but overall it's still less than they were paying before.
Also means from a conscience point of view, all of the, whereas like in the States we would still say people can, the doctors are still being influenced directly. GPs over here within the NHS aren't. It's only private clinics that can be influenced now. All GP prescribed within the NHS is, like I say, mandated through NICE. So there is no conscience stuff. You don't look at that. You don't look at why. A lot of it is what's called cost benefit. So the best drug per pound spent. So that's the kind of assumption you have. Now, whether that drug makes it because one guy was told, well, if you don't put our new drug up there, we'll show the pictures of you bumming this kid in Amsterdam 4 years ago, or whether or not it gets there because it is actually clinically slightly better. That's gone now. So all of that prescribing across all of the GPs across all of the UK is mandated down in order. And you have to justify you stepping out of that. So that if a GP did say, no, bollocks, I'm doing this one, that would then be raised at CCG level, Care Commission Group level, and be questioned. Why are you spending this money on this? What's your justification?
You see? So I feel like the plot just thickens because it's been there for a long time. And I think that even though some of us feel like we're awake to it and we've been paying attention to it, I feel like there's been way more skullduggery going on underneath our feet than even I thought. Serious. It just like the plot seems to thicken the more we go into it. Big time. I'm just looking at the comments in the chat room as well. To Ninja Man, to Jane of Torquay, to Alfie Patchin, to Anod as well. Reverend Hull as well in the chat room. Jonathan Hobbs, Claire Emma, Alfie Patching, and no comment. Patriot, Lunderground as well. Lovely to have you along. Nathan Oakley as well. Thank you for all your comments. And further up the list, Ian Adams as well, Vagabond.
Is Nathan still here?
David Howard, possibly. And Michael Kilpatrick as well. Jesse in the chat room. Yeah, just trying to make sure I didn't leave anyone out. I'm not sure.
Absimus Maximus, Vagabond.
Abimus, yeah, Vagabond. I feel like, again, all of these things, these are things for us to kind of track and keep our eye on as we go through the next few months, because I think we're going to see a lot of big changes. And it feels like things have been fast forwarded by about 5 times. The way that we're going through things internationally, as I said, I've not even had time. We've been going for nearly 3 hours and I've not had time to talk about all of that, which is why I'm going to fast track it to this end segment that I want to bring up here. And if it's okay with everybody, I'm going to share the screen one more time.
You need to stop asking if it's okay with everybody and just say, I'm going to share the screen now.
Yeah,
you're going to like it.
You're going to like. Well, we're almost there, Adam. Do you remember when you said you wanted to see some big names?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, well, there's one in the middle there in a yellow coat. And, well, he's no name. And Madame Lozonga over there. So here, Trump admin prepares to send high-profile traitors to Gitmo. President Trump has ordered Guantanamo Bay to prepare for incoming high-level prisoners, including American politicians, within the next few months. Donald Trump's swamp draining is about to begin in earnest, with political crooks around the country concealing ankle monitors, house fires attempting to destroy evidence at an array of high-profile people's houses, and Guantanamo Bay being prepared for the influx of high American profile prisoners. As reported by Fox in Phoenix, President Trump just sent the Arizona's Army National Guard to watch over the prisoners at Guantanamo Bay, Cuba. Why? There are currently only 41 prisoners there. Obviously, there will be soon many more prisoners in Gitmo, and since the National Guard was sent in, these will most likely be high-profile prisoners. The National Guard has been sent there for the next 9 months, so we can expect an influx of high-profile prisoners to take place during this time period. Do not forget that newly elected Trump fought hard to keep Guantanamo Bay open. As the Miami Herald report, fresh from his promise to drain the swamp and lock up Hillary Clinton, Trump hinted at a future role for Gitmo. Did he have it all planned back then? After Trump's whirlwind start to 2018 and the curious events being quietly reported on the fringe of the news, it's beginning to start looking that way. A couple of months ago, We reported that John McCain and Hillary Clinton were likely wearing surgical boots to hide ankle monitors. A famously corrupt California congresswoman is also wearing one, and whom Abdeen has started wearing 70s-style bottom jeans to hide her ankle monitor. Also recently, Trump executive order that allowed for the freezing of assets of those involved in human rights violations and corruptions. This order follows for what just took place with the royal family in Saudi Arabia. The question is, why now? Why do you need to freeze assets now? Interestingly, the executive order has a list of about 10 people subject to this order. These people are foreign individuals, but are all tied to the Clintons in some way. It's becoming clear that the list of foreign individuals is a smokescreen for what is happening behind the scenes. NPR also let some very interesting information out of the bag recently, as they report attorneys will now be allowed to visit their clients in Guantanamo Bay. This has never been allowed. A military judge recently ordered the change of the rules. Why? We're talking about a prison that has tortured its inmates, set dogs on them, then naked pictures of them. Why are we now suddenly concerned with human rights? We suspect the kind of prisoners held there will soon be changing. There will be American prisoners of the high-profile variety whose sections of the public will demand to have more rights than your average Gitmo detainee. I'm going to share the link for this in the chat room for you just now. I've just given you a kind of brief synopsis of the start of that there, but I'm going to put that into the chat room. Shout out to Sleeping Warrior on the 1s and 2s of that one. Thank you. Eyes and ears and all that. So yeah, shout out to Sleeping Warrior for that.
It's nice to get that from Anthony as well, wasn't it? Because Anthony's not a big Q follower, is he?
But he's a truth follower.
He's a truth follower, yeah.
He's fastidious.
And the thing is, that's the beauty of it, though. He likes to sniff out the truth, and truth has taken him there, and that backs up everything else. So people are going to start to see, and the thing is, what you got to remember, what I want everybody to remember is certainly on this channel, when you do see, when you turn around and say, do you know what? I can see it now. We're not going to say, we told you so, we told you so, you should have listened to us. We're not going to say that. We're not going to do that. That's not what this is about. This will be about, yes, nice one. At last, you can see, great. Now let's move forward, because that's all this is about. It's just about everybody seeing what's going on, seeing it for what it is, and then moving forward.
What do you make of that, Adam?
Yeah, I mean, I'll be jumping around when I see Hillary in there.
I think a lot of people will.
I mean, can we just now, right? Can we make a pact that on the day that they announce that Hillary Clinton has been arrested, or even just detained, right? Can we have some sort of little celebration? We have to have celebration playing, right, in the background.
What? Celebrate good times.
Come on. Yes. That is exactly what we have.
We'll have a party.
Right?
We'll have a party when the news is released.
Can we just, with our chat room, right? Just, it doesn't matter if you think it's going to happen or not. It doesn't, like, especially if you don't think it's going to happen, right? If you don't think Hillary's ever going to get arrested, when she does get arrested or just detained, when she gets
even detained, I'm at celebrating from detained.
When she gets detained for questioning, right? Come and join us for the celebrate good times. Come on, celebration. Yeah, man.
That was a naff rendition from me. I don't know what I was dealing with there, but I'm with you on that one.
No, but you're still going with it. What's it?
What about you, Adam? Are you going to be there? Are you going to come and celebrate with us?
If that bitch goes down, I'll have a fucking disco with anyone. Do you know what I mean? But let's say you've got to look for stuff. What I thought was interesting, I'm noticing today, is the Guardian announcing, allowing YouTube videos where Obama's attacking Trump. We appear to be getting a bit sticky because Trump's, even though the helicopter was taken off today, had a little dig and basically called him the most incompetent president ever.
Yeah.
And I don't think with stuff like that, that's the end of it. That's a kind of precursor to something that's coming. So I think there is, like I say, there's always stuff that gives you hope. And you don't take on a previous administration and make.
He keeps on tweeting Obamagate. He just keeps on tweeting it.
Yeah,
This was something I wanted to say earlier.
I'm going to go and try and find that. He keeps tweeting and Instagramming it. Obamagate.
I'm not a QAnon and stuff, but I was looking at stuff this afternoon, and what kind of dawned on me is the rhetoric that he uses. It's very profound. It's very bold. It attracts instant criticism, but it seems to be not doing too bad in terms of the test of time. And again, he's come out with these. The Obama administration is turning out to be one of the most corrupt and incompetent in US history. Remember, he and Sleepy Joe, the reason I'm in the way. Yeah, he's making a lot of statements, and I think, being as old as I am, when you look back on these sorts of things, these are very, 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 very bold statements.
Yeah,
that he's making, and I'd say give it another. The other thing I noticed was rhetoric. You played the other night, that guy last night, and what he mentioned was Trump's second administration. There's a rhetoric being taught now that it's a given. I wouldn't probably disagree with that, but what alternative is there? The bloke that lost to Hillary 4 years ago or something, you know what I mean? But I think, as I said, the way in which he's talking, I think it needs a bit of history on it, and not what the media give and what we're all subjected to is the Donald Trump apprentice version of what we think we're dealing with, because that's really, really, put that in any other context. The Clinton administration, or the Bush, imagine Clinton saying the Bush administration is turning out to be, how would the media actually be reacting to that if it was any of the other previous administrators, or, you know, making those statements about their predecessors?
Yeah.
That is impeachment. That's a reason to impeach a president when he comes and says something about his predecessor. You know, they're not touching it with a barge pole. They want it to die quickly.
Yeah.
Like I said, he just laid it out there in a cheeky way, and I thought,
oh, talking about cheek, Adam, have you seen what Elon Musk did today? He only went and tweeted, "Take the red pill," with a little emoji of a red rose, right? Let me show you this. Let me share the screen and show you this. You're gonna love this. You're gonna love this, right?
Elon Musk telling us to take the red pill.
Is a certified savage, right? I think he got bored of trolling himself, so he was just like, do you know what? You know when someone smokes too much or drinks too much, and they just like, you lose all their inhibitions. Well, welcome to Elon's world, everyone. Check this out. This is madness. So this was Elon at 10:44 on the 17th of May. Take the red pill, everyone. Yeah. Okay. With that.
Oh, he posted himself smoking a joint, man.
oh, that's the old one on the Joe Rogan show.
Of course he did.
Brilliant.
That was the one that NASA.
Right, do you know?
He's triggered the most Tesla owning liberals. Telling you.
Right, do you know what? When he did that, right, I watched it. And I always hated Elon Musk because I always thought that he looked uncomfortable in his own skin. His mouth, his mannerisms and the way his mouth moves. He looks like it's like he's not wearing it's not his skin he's wearing. And when I saw him on Joe Rogan and he was smoking, I've had loads of people, well, not loads, but I've had a couple of people say, no, he wasn't really smoking, he wasn't inhaling, blah, 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 blah. I'll tell you what, the guy actually became more normal to me when he'd had a few puffs. He was like, and then he suddenly seemed to relax and become normal. And he looked like he felt comfortable in his own skin. And for the first time, I sat there and watched him. I was like, yeah, go on, boy. Go on, Elon. Smoke a zoot, mate. And I don't know. I think that he really did smoke it. And it because he was leaving, wasn't he? He was leaving Tesla. He wasn't going to be chairman anymore, or whatever his title was. He'd been moved out, basically. They pushed him out, and he knew he was like going out, so he went. It was like the day before he went and did that Joe Rogan
Rox
interview
a while ago said these big boys are being given options, and if you follow the kind of Q thing, if you look at Billy Bellend and the way
there's
he's
certain people that are going to try and flip and free themselves as well.
Well, he's shown it's a load of crap. He's gone on Joe Rogan, smoked a load of weed, showed that NASA won't kick him out even though he's broke the law and he should lose his contracts. And he's tried all that. He stuck a car in space with
the day after the Trump administration unveiled the Star Trek sign. Elon says take the red pill.
Yeah, he's told you it has to be, the old. It has to be real because it looks a shit, basically. There's and now
it's real because it looks so fake.
People are so asleep that that's not sufficient. So he said, "Let's talk about red pills." So it's very, very odd. I don't know whether that's a desperate plea for please don't lock me up in Guantanamo. Look, I'm trying to mitigate. I was a bad boy, honestly. But look, I even showed how shit my company is by showing my bulletproof car. I can put a rock through it. Do you know what I mean? Everything he's done has been undermining himself for a long time.
Whose love child is he, man?
That seems a step beyond that as well, because that's quite a statement to make, a red pill statement.
Right. Going back to my statement about how he always I've always felt he looked uncomfortable in his own skin. When I think about it, it's just, I think the guy was scared. I don't think he was comfortable where he was and what he was doing because of what was at stake, what was being. He could see what was being done, and he wasn't comfortable. And when he realised that, once he wasn't going to be part of it anymore, he's able to relax a little bit. I don't know how much of a bad boy he's been, but what he seems to me like the sort of guy that would just do anything that he's told, by the people that he sees as authority, in authority figures to him. He'll always do what he's told. He seems like, he's not an alpha male, is he? he's not gonna.
But smoking a bit of weed in a state where it is legal, but under, federal law, you could get done. That's one thing. But to come out and make a red pill, I'm not seeing its context as, probably, but that seems very contrary. Red pill is defy the system. It's not.
Do you see it like that? Do you see red pill as defy the system?
Let's wake up to all of it.
I mean that, but I see that as kind of, it is inherent to waking up, I guess, to find the system, but I don't think it should be seen or put forward as just define the system, because it's not just about define authority and define the system, and is it? It's about regaining your own rights, your own creator given, God given, whatever, given by the Most High, our Creator. We need to know that this place is not an accident. We need to know that we were created, man.
If you're going to claim those rights, what does that require you to do? You have to deny the system. Like I say, it's not a denying the system pill. It's a waking up pill. But The consequence of that is what they're so scared of. That's why they don't want us to wake up. Because if we do, the only way we can then be true to ourselves once we have woken up is to try and defy the system. That doesn't mean you run around
I guess
screaming.
I guess what
you can fight it, you fight it.
Yeah, I guess what I'm saying is to put it into those terms. This is where our own language is weaponized against us. Like to put it into those terms, defy the system, immediately will give some people fear. You know, they'll be like, "What? What do you mean defy the system? Oh my God!" You know, the system there is no defying the system. There is no beating the system. There's just the system, and the system just is. I know that my dad thinks like that, and my mum thinks like that.
But that's the bonus. Like we had Jess on, and that's why I was asking her, you know, and my boys. That ain't the case. You know, my dad used to say, "Good luck. Some of us will beat the system." Yeah, good luck, son. You know, and when he, you know, and that was the old mentality. We're saying defy it. Yeah, I think they're just going to ignore the system and move forwards. And earlier on, before you had the QAnon people, and I like yours, Rich, and that forget whether QAnon is real or not. To me, it doesn't matter. There is actually a movement there, whether it's the same color revolution of nonsense that we saw in the UK. That doesn't matter. People are unified by an ideal. So it doesn't matter whether Gandhi was real or not. Yeah. There's something now there in the psyche, certainly buzzing around the internet, of what not who Q is. It doesn't matter, even whether that's an individual, a bunch of geeks in a basement or whatever, but the ideal of what Q stands for is actually out there now. And that I do subscribe to, where we do go one. That's what I talked about. We go all, because once we've got a time to go, let's fucking go and show them that whatever we decide as the popular, the government's got no chance if we decide.
That's it. We the people are many, and the people that have oppressed us are very, very few. They've put into effect a lot of plasters that some of us have been born
It's
into
actually less than
having.
1%. Less than 1%. They're the ones that
All
actually
is falling if the Great Awakening happens. If the Great Awakening happens and people wake up to all of the atrocities that have been done to mankind.
That's the most beautiful thing about it, Rox. That's the most beautiful thing about it.
It's not an if now,
it's not
when.
if. It's not if. The Great Awakening is happening. It's absolutely happening. I've seen over the last 5 years being on the island, I've gone from not being able to discuss anything, being threatened to be kicked out of my club if I discuss anything any further, to people coming up and asking me questions and being able to talk to anybody in that club about something. Right? Not there was some subjects you couldn't talk about, but there was always something else that you could talk about. Always, there was always a subject that you could put on the table and people would talk about it. So there is a Great Awakening. It's been slow for the last, I woke up 7 years ago, so it's like, wow. It would have been nice if this had happened when I woke up, if I'd been part of the Great Awakening, because I felt back then like I was. Do you remember when you woke up, Rox, Adam, when you woke up? Do you remember when you fell down the rabbit hole and you were like, whoa, oh my God, you start sharing it with everybody. You're like, yeah, look at this. And you're thinking, yeah, man, everybody's going to start waking up. The world's going to change now, man. It's all going to be cool. And then people were just like, Rich, what did you smoke today, mate?
Rich, here's an admission of shame. I remember leading up to 2012 doing a group meditation and visualizing the ball Earth. It hurts still. You know, we all that was that was but you know, we all wake up at different times. That whole 2012 thing, it wasn't an event that was going to happen. People were there before and people are getting there afterwards. And hopefully what I've seen as a consequence of lockdown is so many more people, so many more
2012
talking.
Right.
About
2012 wasn't when I woke up. 2012 wasn't when I woke up. Sorry, Ross. I'll just say quickly. 2012 wasn't when I woke up, but 2012 was absolutely a catalyst for my waking up because I was looking forward to it. I was like, wow, what's going to happen? Something big's going to happen. What's going to happen? And when nothing seemed to happen, nothing seemed to change, I was really disappointed, man. I was actually really disappointed. I was like, oh man, it's just another hoax, just another load of crap, just a load of bullshit. And then I slipped further into depression. It got worse, and that's what then led me to looking, and opening my eyes, and that's what started me on my path. And then in 2013, that's when I fell down. Well, no, I didn't fall down it. I walked down a rabbit hole. But 2012 definitely massive catalyst for me.
It's starting to realize you've got to be the change you want to be.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. Shout out to all of you in the chat room as well. Jonathan, Nunite, my darling, Claire, Emma as well, Alfie Patchin, Dan, and Dusty Nuggets, Jonathan Hobbs, Dagon Morningstar, Anod, Absimus, sorry, and who else is in there? Reverend Hull, Azrim, Ison is in the chat room as well. Ninja Man is still there as well. Great to see you. Haskason and Patch Riot still there as well. And Jesse still there too. Just trying to give you all a shout out and acknowledge the fact that we see you. And thank you so much for all of your interactions. I've really enjoyed being amongst.
Do you know what? I just want to say I love it that the Ninja Man's still there, mate. I bloody love you, dude, because we've had we've disagreed or had misunderstandings and stuff a couple of times, but you don't let that. You don't take your toys out of the pram and go off or anything. You stay, and I respect that, man. Thank you, dude.
Yeah, big time. I second that. The Peanut Gallery says hi. Hello, my darling. Thank you for joining us. Yeah, if that's all right with you guys, we'll kind of wrap it up for tonight. Is that okay? Are we all right with doing
3
that?
hours and 7 minutes. That's good for me.
Nice.
I reiterate that I joined at that point, didn't know what was going off, but that's what free society is about: intelligent discussion of points, not I disagree, you're a mong, and then ad hom. So respect, fella, yeah.
Real Media Live, Real and Maggie, shout out to you, my darling. Nice to see you in the chat room. Thanks so much for tuning in and being there. That's another content maker in the chat room, Reels Media Live. If you go over, I know the chat room makes it a nightmare to do that now easily in the chat room, but yeah, shout out to you. I've just seen you in the chat room, so go and check out them. Real is at Speaker's Corner as well sometimes as well, so go and check them out. Yeah, is there anything else you guys want to say before we wrap up?
I've got an upload of just observations. There's the stuff on that I saw on the port today and out in the ocean. But if it's not uploaded now, it will be uploaded in the next 20 minutes or so on my channel. People can go and check that out after.
Good. And for you, Azim, anything you'd like to let anybody know before we wrap up for tonight?
No, I've exhausted myself of all opinion.
I
tell you what, there's one thing. We were talking about Cynthia last night, and I just want to give a shout out to my Marie. Love you, babe. And she encourages me to do this sort of stuff, and without her, I wouldn't have that.
Marie, big love from the Really Woke Show and from me, Roxanne. Big hugs, big hearts to you, my darling. Shout out the gang behind the scenes, behind the Meakin, because behind every great man is an even more powerful and wonderful woman. So yeah, big up, Marie.
I've tried that. She's not having it.
What are you like? And to all of you in the chat room that are showing love as well, thank you, my darlings. Big love and respect to all of you as well. We really do appreciate all of your kind words in the chat room, and for also respecting each other's space, and you know, taking it from each other. Not everyone's going to agree, but everyone's defending everyone's right to say what they need to say, and that's what the most important thing is. No one's getting thrown out for speaking their mind. Obviously, we want to keep it calm and polite in the chat room, but we do want to make it, you know, a safe environment for you to be able to speak your mind. And if you're, you know, starved of having non-mundane conversations in your real life out there, then, you know, this is just as real as out there. You're interacting with real people in the chat room, from all across the international plane. If you scroll up, you'll see where everyone gave themselves a shout out from. So yeah, we will try and be back as many times a week as possible at 9:30 p.m. GMT right here on these channels, 007's channel, Roxanne the Globalist and I's channel, and the Really Work Show channel. And also for double gigs, when are you going to be doing them? Can you give everyone a synopsis of
My
the
gigs
run?
between they'll start between 3 and 4 p.m. And finishing at 6, so it'll be like a 2-hour gig somewhere between 3 and 4 p.m. Next week, or this week coming, hopefully this little puppy will be put into use. It's just waiting for the lead, but the lead, that's one of the things that you sent, Adam, with the CBD oil. So the lead will be here this week. It will be, and I shall start using this baby.
Yay! That's what we want to hear. That is what we heard. Listen, the anticipation has been building. I'm telling you, there's a lot of people. This is highly anticipated, this mic. So awesome. We're one day closer to getting that. So brilliant. Awesome. Well, I'm going to wrap up with our little video thing for our little show, and we will make sure the link gets uploaded at some point tomorrow for the streams. So keep an eye on that. Make sure you're subscribed and you've hit the notification bell for all of the channels that are streaming just now, whichever channel you're retrospectively watching on. And to all of you in the chat room, again, massive appreciation for you taking the time to be here with us, and for all of the interactions in the chat room as well. You guys have been great tonight in all of the topics that we've gone through, whether you agree or not, which is brilliant.
Whichever channel you are watching it on, just make sure you go and subscribe to the other channels as well, because sometimes it has been happening in the past. Thankfully, it hasn't. We don't want to, but sometimes one of the streams will come that will be taken down because of the AI and stuff. One of the streams will be taken down, but it will still be up on another thing. So you'll be able to find us on one of the 3 channels all the time. So if you're subscribed to all 3 channels, make sure you're subscribed to all 3 channels. Please hit that thumbs up.
Awesome. Brilliant. Well, without further ado, I shall now do this. And Adam, you can say your night-nights, my lovely.
Night, everyone.
Nighty-night, everybody. Nighty-night. Double, you can say night-night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Nighty-night, my lovelies. Hopefully you can hear this as well. And we will see you tomorrow.
Later, gators. Can't hear it, babe.
No sound.
New sound.
Okay. Well, I'll do it again. Second time lucky, yeah? Second time lucky. Right. Let's do share the screen, share the audio like I did last time, Chrome, and do that. And then this time, hopefully you guys will hear it.
Yeah.
Yay. See you tomorrow, everyone. Big love.
See you tomorrow, guys. Much love. Ciao.